Alright, so, welcome, everybody, to today's stream for Sorcery, Part 2. Here we are at the city of Ainrath. Or Care, I don't know why. Ainrath, I think I viewed your name there and I said that instead. Guess what? Apparently, Care, it's you now. You're the city of traps. This? It's you apparently now? Alright, here we go. Let's begin. I'll go ahead and move my piece right up here. I click. Alright. Twilight already. The great city of Care has loomed large on the horizon all day, but has been slow to reach, the path tracing great loops back and forth through a deep and narrow pass. I walk on. You have not seen a living soul since you left the Svin, so you are naturally cautious when you round a bend in the path and see a beggar, crouched low against a rock, muttering to himself. Alright, hello, beggar? What are you doing? You stop, out of sight behind an outcrop, but the beggar does not look like much of a threat. We'll be cautious. We'll wait and see exactly what is that beggar doing. The beggar is an unfortunate soul. His head twitches from one side to the other every few minutes, and he mutters and murmurs to himself. They're hiding in the rocks, sir. Hiding in the rocks. Well, let's go ahead and talk to him. What exactly is hiding in the rocks? You call a greeting and stride over, and he leaps to his feet, drawing a short stick from inside his cloak. What? Who goes there? He demands. What's your business and care? I like the get out of my way. I always love this option when I have chosen to come up to the person and be like, yo, what's up? What's hanging? And then just shove them to the side. Be like, hey, what's up? How's it going? Now get out of my way. And you just shove them. Well, seeing as I walked over and approached them, let's go ahead and start by greeting them. Hello there, old man. Ugh. Enough of your greetings, the beggar spits back. I asked you a question. Who are you and where are you headed? This is accurate. I am a traveler. He pokes his stick at you. A traveler? Traveling where? Well, I'm Care. Here I am. I'm traveling here, yeah? Well, obviously Care, but why? He prods harder. Answer me, or you'll face the consequences. What consequences? Better you don't find out, he replies darkly. I am the city guard. No one enters Care except through me. And then, despite his age and clear ill health, he comes at you, waving his stick. The beggar man, clearly the city guard. City guard, beggar man, I'm not gonna fight you. I won't fight you, you tell him. You're unarmed. He waves the stick close to your face, jabbing a few times, but you push the point aside with one hand. He just pokes at me with his stick at my face, and I'm just like, All right then, he declares. We'll settle this fairly. He tosses the stick to one side and raises his fists. The knuckles are blackened with scabs. Beggar man, he might be asking for it, but I'm not going to fight him. The beggar makes a short braying noise, like a laugh, and then lamps you on the nose. It is surprisingly painful, and he's ready for another swing. I mean, it's still a fist, so it's still going to be painful, even if he is pathetically weak. At least a little bit. And hello there, Thoth and Tim, and welcome to the stream. Are we gonna win this time? Good question. I would have to get into a fight in order to win or lose it, so we're just going to step back, continue to be reserved. You step back, and with that, the fight seems to drain from him. He sits down again, suddenly sad. Very well, he moans. You're right, I suppose. I can't defend the city on my own. Okay. Old beggar man clearly thinks he's city guard. Let's be kind. You're very brave. Although, on the other hand, my character, as we have been building her, has been kind of harsh. But I guess she's going to feel bad for this guy. And she's just like looking down at him and is like, this guy's crazy. If I tell him he's gonna get killed, he's probably not gonna be very happy. We'll just say he's brave. You're very brave, you tell him kindly. Am I? He asks, looking up. I don't feel brave. I'm still alive. Doesn't that make me a coward? He shivers. You don't have any food, do you? He asks sadly. He's like, oh, I feel bad for being unsuccessful at fighting you and defending the town. By the way, I'm hungry. But I don't have any food. My rations? At 0. You shake your head. I'm sorry. The man sighs and shakes his head. No matter then. There's plenty of meat on the grass wall if you know how to nibble them. What if we invite crazy old man? You know, I reflect on how we had our last little friend. Though he was kind of a problem since he deactivated my magical powers. I don't think the beggar man will have that. But I'm kind of missing having a friend to obnoxiously talk all the time, so clearly I'm like, I need a replacement. Come on, old man. Join me. You take pity on the man. Come with me. I'm going into care. The soldier considers your offer for a moment. You're sure? I know the word for the wall, but they will not let me through the gate. Well, sounds like we can help each other then. Come on, old man. They must be better than Jan. I mean, the mere fact that he's not going to prevent me from using magic means he's going to be better than Jan. Steal his stabs? I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. How do you nibble a grassful? Very delicately. You just grab it up to your mouth and you're like, oh, and there you go. He clambers slowly to his feet. A gleam of hope has entered the poor man's eyes. Very well then, stranger. A trade. Or unless that's him talking. Very well then, stranger. A trade. Okay, now we've got a companion. We continue towards the town. The beggar walks a few strides ahead, the ghost of a military pace in his step. So, I'm gonna ask for his name, that way I know at least what to call him, so I'm not calling him soldier or beggar man. What's your name, you ask? Captain Thomas of the 4th Legion, responsible for the southern perimeter, my lady. He knocks his bony heels together. At your service. Alright, well, what are you doing out here, soldier? We're going to continue to not just, like, point at him and be like, you're fucking crazy, and book it out. Because, obviously, if we want him to fight on our side, we have to feed into him. So what are you doing out here, soldier? We were sent out to investigate sightings. A whole legion of us. Back when the council felt bold. But then they locked the gate and wouldn't let us back in. I could see that the people in the town were like, old beggar man, hey, do you see that over there? Yeah, go check it out for us, huh? And then he exited, and they closed the door on him and locked it, you know? And hello there to you too, kidding. Okay. Probably ask about the sightings, huh? Oh. The goblins. There are goblins in the rocks. In the rocks? What exactly are the goblins doing? He shakes his head. I don't know. They can't get through the walls, but then I think I've heard them digging, scraping at the mud at night. The path winds through gorse and thick grass. Care squats in a basin in the hill like a stagnant, festering pool. You turn one corner, then another, and then the stone walls of the city are looming over you. Wonder if there actually are goblins out here. It's hard to properly believe or trust whatever Thomas here is saying, because we don't know if he's just imagining things. Like, what if it's just little ants and he's like, those are goblins, those beetly bugs, goblins too. We're not entirely sure. The walls weren't built to keep anything out. They were before the goblins, Thomas says. They were built to keep people in. Care is one gigantic trap itself. Eh? Why? Why would they make an entire city to be a trap? Are the people inside not happy? Would you be happy ruled by pirates and thieves? He points. Cast your eyes up. You can see them. Archers, facing in both directions. You could scramble up the slope to the right to get a better view of the wall. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and hop up on the slope then. That way we can peek at the wall. Are there really a bunch of archers pointing inwards towards the town now? It seems your new friend was right. Standing atop the huge stone blocks is a guard with a longbow slung across his shoulder. Let's go ahead and watch the archer for a moment. The guard above the gate looks this way and that, but doesn't shift. I don't think we need to run for it. Just walking up to the wall shouldn't be the archer shooting at us. Here you are, normal person, walking up to a city and the archers up on the wall are just instantly like, someone's approaching, we have to kill them immediately. Shoot first, ask questions later. There is nothing else for it. You put up a hand and call out. The archer lifts a hand to shield his eyes against the sun. Who goes there? He bellows. Friend or foe? Let's not have Thomas answer. He probably wouldn't respond very well. We'll do the talking. We'll say friend. Friend, you cry. Ha! Is that so? The archer shouts back. Then what's the watchword? Thomas leans over and whispers to you, Pt.1. You nod, but before you answer, you pause. Can you trust this man? I mean, we don't have a reason to doubt him. So sure, let's give Pt.1. Pt.1, you call. The guard considers this for a moment, then lowers his bow. Approach, he calls. There we are. Already infinitely more useful than Jan. It's true. He actually is making it so I can get close. Cast a spell. I don't need to cast any spells yet. We approach the gate. The south gate stands before you. It is as tall as 2 men and would be broad enough to ride 3 horses through, if only it were open. But instead, it is locked, and there is no other way into the city. Luckily, of course, you have a key. Over to you, says Thomas, stepping back. And so, I grab out my key, I wiggle it around, and I unlock the gate. You remove the key from your pack and slip it into the lock. The tumblers click as the key turns. Thomas hangs back. Good work. But do you think it's safe to go through? It's a fair point. If this entire city is just trap, that city of traps, I can understand being cautious. Let's wait for a moment. Thomas nods. A few heartbeats pass, but you hear nothing from inside the yard. Then he shakes his head. I'm going for it. Thank you, stranger. And with that, he dashes away inside. Oh. You hear nothing for a moment, and then the sound of shouting voices and feet rushing away. Uh-oh. Here I was going to hang around with Thomas as we explore the town together, but it seems that Thomas is helping himself inside and is getting chased by a mob now. Let's go in. I feel like what probably has happened is that he's come inside and everyone's like, what the fuck, Thomas, you're back here? Get the fuck out. Slipping inside, you find the yard deserted. The old soldier has cleared it out for you. You push the gate closed. Key still in the lock. Whoever the next ruffian to visit Care may be, he will be grateful for your little gift. Fuck. Got to get the key back. Well, we're through the gate now. I don't know if I would call it betrayal with him just running inside ahead of me. There's nothing exact betrayal happening there. It's not like we agreed to stick together or anything. You pause just inside the shadow of the gate. To your left is a low stone building with metal bars for windows. Okay, so we can duck behind the building. Oh, I think I'm hearing some city sound effects just faintly in the background now. You don't know yet? Let's try the door. You go over to the door. It is locked, but the key is still in the keyhole. Oh, so the person's done basically the exact same thing I just did with the gate. At that moment, two soldiers march around the corner. Oh, unless you're saying you let him betray you by the fact that we went inside and he ran ahead of us and was like, hey, someone just got into the city that's not supposed to be here. I could see that, maybe. Let's dive inside out of the way of the guards. I don't really want to deal with any problems. With heartbeats to spare, you leap inside the building. Whoosha! Quickly, into it I go. Oh, we've got another old man, apparently. The smaller room is dark, lit only by a narrow, barred window. It takes a moment for your eyes to adjust to the gloom, so you don't notice that the door has swung shut. Until you hear it lock behind you. The old man, who is watching, sniggers with contemptuous glee. Well, we've been saying hello to the other people we've been running into, so, hi, old man. Did you just trap me in here? You step towards the bench. Greetings, old man. He ignores you. He is concentrating hard on something on the ground just in front of him. A collection of small stones, scattered as though for a fortune-telling. After a moment, he gathers them up and tosses them again. You notice that his other hand is missing completely. The left sleeve of his tunic hangs limp by his side. Let's look at the stone. We'll ignore his arm for a moment. You step over to peer at his stones, but he snatches them up quickly into his palm. If you want to play, he says defensively, then you have to bet. Play what? Why, the man replies with a shark-like grin, swindle stones, of course. Swindle stones? You asked, intrigued. Ah, a stranger in town? Don't know how to play? Better and better. He shows you one of his stones. It is a strange, 4-value die. Sit. He pats the bench beside him with one hand. Play. We can talk while I beat you. I wonder if I could cheat. These count as pebbles? I could make them explode, too. Okay, but you'll have to teach me the rules. My lucky day. He grins with his one remaining tooth. It's easy. We each roll our dice in secret, but we bet on what we've rolled in total. You call if you think the other player has bet too high. The loser gives away a die. You go over to the bench. Intrigued. Ah, swindle stones? Sounds legit. Now it's time to get a gambling addiction indeed. I join him on the bench. There he is, looking incredibly honest and like somebody I can certainly trust. The old man drops 4 dice into your palm and sweeps away a patch of dust on the bench for you to play. I'll go first, he says, waving his hand. Show you how it's done. So let's see. These can... It said it was 4 valued die. So the game is simple. We roll and bet on what's come up. So, for instance, I might start and bet that between us we've rolled at least 2 ones. Make a bet on the combined dice held by you and the old man. So it's more about not the total, like 4 plus 3 here is 7. Not that, but what the kind of dice are. So, in my own hand, I've got 2 4s and 2 3s. So then it becomes a sort of one of those liar's dice type games where you're like, we definitely have this, and you're looking at your own hand and all you've rolled are 1s, and you're saying that there are a total of 3 2s, completely lying. Look, you can go all the way up to 8 since we've got 8 dice out. So what if I say that we have rolled 3 4s? Because I have at least 2. I could take the bet that he rolled at least 1. I'm not falling for your innocence. Alright, I'm revealing my dice. Oh, I should have gone with a 3. God damn. Only 2 4s. The old man wins the round. Hell. If I'd gone with 3, I would have won. Well, now I've got 2 1s. I guess this time we'll go ahead and be honest. We've got 2 1s. Doomed. Should do. Lived here 20 years now. I'm gonna call him this time. Uh-oh. There are 3 4s. Old man wins again. Well, now I've only got 2 dice. Uh-oh. That means we're gonna have to take a gamble. I bet there are... Uh-oh. We can also only gamble on 3 dice. So I'm going to go ahead and bet that there are at least 3 3s. Call. Well, nope. Only 1 3. I could have gotten it with 3 5s, 3 4s though. I bet there's at least 1 1. Doomed? How about 1 2? He returns to me. I'll call? Is he only looking at the 4 dice and not my missing ones? There is 1 2. The old man wins the game. I've lost. Well, that's the game, the old man says with a beaming smile. And you lost. The old man pockets his dice once more and stretches back, cheerful at his victory. I thought you were a bit slow. Now we can do a rematch. I bet at this point, if we did a rematch... Because I think that game, he pretty much told the truth the entire time, and if we rematched him, he's going to lie a lot more. Good. I've been going easy on you. And then it's time to play again. Okay, we've got 2 2s, 1 3, 1 4. He says that we've got 2 2s. So, aha! Look, that's my business, not yours. Oh, this is interesting. If you notice, so, where are you headed when you get out of here? I can give different replies as I'm rolling the gate. As I'm betting in return. But if I look at the dice and he's saying 2 2s, what I am kind of wanting to say is I bet there's 3. So I'm going to head to the north gate when I get out of here. He's going to bet 4 2s. There are 5 2s. I guess I should have gone with another 2. Damn. Well, I guess I'm just not very good at gambling with these liar's dice. Let's see. So tell me, what do they serve for food in here? What happened to your arm? Don't you want to get out of here instead of playing dice? What do you know about the city? About the north gate of the city? Let's go with that. What do you know about the north gate of the city? And we're going to say there are 2 2s. It's no ordinary lock. It's wizard locked with a spell, and only the first noble knows it. Well, that's kind of unfortunate, because then I can't use any of my magical unlock spells. Where do I find him? Anyone else? This is important, so tell me everything you know. And then that's all the same. Let's go with where do I find him? So if he's saying that there are 2 3s, I have at least 1 3. Well, I'm gonna gamble and just use his own hand. Well, where do I find him? 2 4s. And hello there to you too, GLRP. Welcome. Now he's going to gamble 3 3s. I say the spell is 4 lines and 4 nobles know 1 line each. I try to find them. So, if we want to open that gate, we need 4 lines, 4 nobles. Who are these nobles is my reply for everything. I could either call him here and be dubious that he has 3 3s. However, I do have 1 3 myself. But I don't feel like gambling on any of these other combinations are very likely. I don't know that there are 3 4s, because that means he would have to have rolled 3 4s. And if he's gambling on 3 3s, it doesn't seem very likely. Also, hello to you too, comp, and welcome. So I guess we'll just call him. Yep, and there are 3 3s. That's kind of what I figured. Ooh, I got 2 4s. He's going to guess 1 4. So, what did they get you for? Nothing? I just wandered in here and just straight up you locked me in, so it's definitely a mistake in here. But if I want to gamble with what I have, then I want to say I have 2 4s. Oh, he's gonna call me. Guess what? There are 3 4s. The round is yours. That's right, old man. We roll the dice again, and he's lost the dice now instead. Okay. Now what can I ask? So tell me, what did they serve for food? What happened to your arm? Let's ask him, where do I find the first noble? With 1 or 2 1s. Search me. He doesn't often get locked up. Oh, he's saying, well, I'm in a fucking jail prison here, and the noble isn't exactly being thrown in jail either, so how the fuck should I know? You must know something. Just tell me what you know. Let's see if we can call him with 3 4s. They say he's gone into hiding in the council. I definitely can't even do any. I'm just going to call him. Only 2 4s, the round is yours. There we go. I lied about what I had, and thus I was able to get him. Our conversation thus continues. I'm doing better than the last round, at least, then. And it looks like that did end our conversation, though. So, he's saying that there's at least 1 3. I'm going to say that there's at least 1 4. And hello there, Khan, and welcome. Big Khan was taken. Well, that's fine, because now you're the biggest one. Clearly better than the big Khan. He's going to raise that and say that there are 2 4s. I almost need to lie sometimes with these, because then if I can trick him into calling me about what I have, then I'm more likely to win. Yeah, see, he's gonna call me here, and probably am going to lose this. So in cases when I have a few number of dice, I need to just gamble about what he ended up rolling. So since I have 1 3, rather than saying that there's only 1 3, I'm going to try and bait him. So I'm going to say that there is at least 1 1. He's going to say there's at least 1 3. And since I have a 3 myself, I'm going to swap him and say that there are at least 2 3s. Burp. Okay. He's going to call me on that. Which means that I won. See, I lied about what I had to bait him into raising me. So now we've both got a singular dice. He says that there's at least 1 2. And I can't. Okay. What if I bait him and say, if I was going with the idea that he did roll a 2, if I said that there are at least 2 2s, all he can do is call me. And I'm going to be struck down if I say that. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and say instead then, there's at least 1 3. What are you going to do? Now he's going to say that there's at least 2 2s, and I know that that is not possible because I do not have a 2. I call him. And so I win. Hell yeah. I win, don't I? The old man nods, gathering up the dice. I win easier on you, of course. Rematch? So the real purpose of doing this game seems really like it's to try and gather information from this guy. I've got a little bit of info. I think we're good. So, thanks for the game. You say, standing once more. I see I have a little still to learn. The pleasure was mine, the old man says, putting his dice back into his pocket. He leans back against the stonework and hums quietly to himself. Talking to people will provide clues to help your quest. You can review your clues on the inventory screen. And we found 2 new clues. And another clue has been updated. Yeah, biggest brain liar. Genius. Just have to, I guess, strategize. It's a little bit easier. Almost easier when you don't have much. Just kind of have to hope that they guess a certain way. Okay. Here we go with clues. 4 nobles know the spell. The first noble knows all. The watchword for the wall, don't need that one anymore, that one's wrapped up. 4 of the nobles of Care were each given 1 line of the spell to the North Gate of Care. You will need to find these nobles, if you can, and learn their secrets. The North Gate spell is only known in full to the first noble of the city. So if we were able to find the first noble, we would have the entirety of the spell. Let's go ahead and see if we can escape. You go over to the door, locked of course from the outside. Well, why don't we try picking it first? Why use a spell slot if we can successfully just pick it? Clues, does that mean there will be Scooby snacks? I hope so, since I'm out of rations. I wouldn't say no to anything edible. You dig through your pack for something to pick the lock with, but you have nothing suitable. So you try the tip of your sword, but it is, of course, far too long. After a few minutes of frustration, you give up. The old man laughs at you. You might as well try using your nose, he remarks. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cast a spell. Let me see. Do I have anything to unlock? Yes, okay. E-O-P. And we go, tap! You aim the spell of opening towards the door, and slowly, quietly, let it go. The lock's rusted tumblers click over in response. Oh, very good, very good, the old man chuckles. We peek outside, leaning our head out. Is anyone around still? The yard is empty. While you've been locked up, the sun has sunk low below the wall. You should be able to walk right out of here under the cover of darkness. The old man, however, is less cautious. He is up and out the door like lightning. I pick the lock and he's like, oh, fuck yeah, and just books it out. Fireball the door. Oh, man. I think that probably would be too much of an indicator for anyone hanging around. The old man is spry, despite his age, and is quickly far ahead of you. Well, then maybe we could just use the old man as a distraction device. Fireball the old man. There you go. We fireball him. He sets ablaze. Everyone's distracted by that. We sneak on past. And it looks like there's a whole lot of markers out here. Probably all places I can stop at when I get further in. For now, we go to the junction. At the end of the yard, the road splits. Looking left, you see the guard lined up in rows. Or I guess the guards lined up in rows, running drills. Let's not head that way. To the right, the road leads towards the first buildings of Care. You can just see the old man disappearing off in this direction. Yeah, let's not head over there to the guards then. We go to the right. Why not simply firewall the entire town? Because I might find some good loot, and if we fireball it now, they're gonna send guards after us, and then we won't have time to steal anything. Oh my god, roast rube would be good. You already need a food. I set old man on fire, and then I eat him. Night is falling. Luckily, by the roadside is a small inn, which will make a perfect place to stay before you lose yourself in the winding streets of Care. Alternatively, you could walk into the fields to the right and sleep out under the stars. From somewhere nearby, though, you hear a low baying howl. I'm gonna say, let's not sleep outside in the city of traps. That seems kind of dangerous. One does not just simply fireball the entire town. No, you have to do so strategically. Make sure you start with the correct building to set ablaze and spread from there to make the perfect loot, steals, and escape. And hello there, slime, and welcome to the stream. A sign outside the inn proclaims it, the crooked finger. Well, I guess we're going inside then. Oh, of course! The woodcutter's house is what you start with, because then there's plenty for the fire to be fueled. Lots of wood. You go inside and find an empty bar. The bartender is snoozing at the counter. Clearly, trade is bad. Here, I've walked inside, I look around, I'm like, wow, there's basically nobody here. Time to go back outside. See ya. We go to the bar. The bartender wakes with a snortle as you approach. Greetings, traveler, he yawns. You'll be looking for directions to somewhere else, I suppose. Actually, I was kind of wanting to stay here. Should I not be staying here? You want the best bang for your buck? Fireball the granaries. But then I would fireball the food. You gotta start with the woodcutter so then you can go to the granaries and steal all of the wheat. That way you can make some bread or something later. Snortle? Snort chortle? Or snore? Chortle, perhaps? Unsure. Snort? Even? I have 29 gold. Eating wouldn't be bad either since I don't have any rations. We'll talk about eating first. Well, I need to eat. No food here, I'm afraid, the innkeeper says. No point, since the rats get it all. But a bed for the night will cost you 7 gold pieces. Oh my god, expensive. Now about those rats. How big are they exactly? I think pondering the different ways you can prepare and eat rat. Hey, I could start gambling with swindle stones with people. Be like, oh, a room, swindle stones. I put down some dice. If I win, I get the room for free. Just learn how to play swindle stones and you've got the urge to play. Everybody I come across now, I play against. Oh no, the temptation is so big, we're fucking doing it. Swindle stones, let's go. Do you play swindle stones? You ask, hopefully. The innkeeper narrows his eyes. If you think you can cheat me out of my gold, you've got the wrong idea. Not cheat, a fair game. He clearly doesn't trust you, but he nods. All right. He sweeps a space on the bar top. He rubs his hands. Watch the steak. Let's go ahead and bet. You know what? We're going wild. We're gonna bet cash money. We bet 4 gold pieces. That's half the cost of the room. I roll my dice. Apparently, we're also playing with 5 now between us instead of 4. So, here we go, chat. Get ready to lie. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holy shit. I have so many 2s. That means we're going to be honest. And we're going to start with, I bet there's at least 1 2. Actually, we're going to start a little bit hot. Hang on. We're getting conversation pieces at the same time. So, I don't want to say 1 2 because then it just says, how about? So we're going to hop up here. If we lie, or partially truth, we can say, this place seems very empty. Or I've been hearing things about the North Gate. I heard a baying sound in the fields as I came here. Let's ask about the North Gate. Well, he considers. Oh yes? Things, is it? I heard it's wizard locked. There are 4 spell lines to open it. What are they? Do you know where I can find the spell lines for the gate? Let's go with the spell lines, and we're going to say there's 4 2s. That is my hand. I don't know if I want to raise them that fast, though. So let's go ahead and say there are 3 2s. I have no idea. It's the nobles of the city who know, and I'm far long walk from being a noble. I guess that's the end of that conversation line. I bet you there are at least 4 2s. He's calling me. Guess what, bitch? There's 5 of them. Hell yeah. That's right, I got God roll of 4 2s. Thus, I don't even have to lie, and it raises such great doubt. Let's roll the dice again. Ooh, still got a decent hand. Not as good as last time, but 3 4s is alright to work with. He looked so outraged when he called. He's like, what the fuck? How are there possibly that many 2s on the table? I don't believe you. Listen, if you're interested in Noble, I've like lost the voice I've given him. Listen, if you're interested in nobles, I heard there was one living in Lower Care until recently. Ooh, so if we look around Lower Care, maybe we can get some clues about this noble. Tell me more. Living where, and where is he now? If I went with where is he now, we're gonna have to bet all 3 of my 4s already. So let's ask about living where. Hang on. That's 3 1s, 3 2s, 3 3s. All of which I don't have. If I went with 3 2s, I could gamble on if he has any himself, and then next turn I could... I don't think it's going to let me gamble 3 4s next time. So I'm going to have to play maybe a little bit safe here and say there's at least two 4s here. He's saying there's at least 3 3s, huh? Well, I don't have any 3s, so he would have to have 3 3s in his own hand. But I don't want to just call him here, because if I did that, I'm not going to be able to ask him any questions. He had a big house between here and Dwarf Town. You can't miss it, but it's abandoned now. That doesn't sound too helpful. Where can I find him now? Do you mean he's dead? I'm going to say that there are 3 4s. Where can I find him now? 4 4s? Fuck no. I'm gonna call him. He's not dead. That's a start. At least I hear he's not. I hear he was cursed with a black eye, though. Gone blind. See? Only 2 3s. What a liar. He was already lying from, like, earlier on, even. He's lost another dice. I've still got all 5. Not a great hand. 2 3s, 2 2s, 1 4. But since he only has 3 dice, I can be a little bit riskier in some of my bets. So I want to lie this time, I think, about what I have. I'm going to say that there's at least... let's say there's at least 1 2. He's going to say there's at least 1 4. So there might be at least 2 4s. Let's try there are at least 2 1s. He's gonna raise me and say that there's at least 2 4s. I don't believe him. I'm gonna say that there's at least... But see, if I say that there's at least 3 4s, if he has 2 in his hand... Let's go with 3 4s. He's going to say that there's 4 4s. I don't believe that. I'm going to call him. See? And there's only 2 4s. So I beat him because looking at my own hand, I'm like, I definitely don't have that. And looking at your dice, I don't think there's enough out that are ending up with this count. Here we go. Now he only has 2 dice. Well, I still have all 5 of mine. Okay. Shall we open on 1 4? I have 2. Hang on. I have 3 2s. That's very good. 1 3 and 1 4. So, okay. We'll raise him and say, how about 2 4s? He's gonna say that there's 4 4s. Fucking stupid idiot. I win because I only have 1, so literally not possible. Roll the dice again. This poor guy, this guy is dumb. Yeah, clearly I should have bet all of my gold, I guess. Okay, he's only got a singular die. So, I've got 2 2s, 1 1, 1 4, 1 3, and 1 4. So, a terrible hand ultimately. And that also gives me 1 die of every kind. Let's go with saying that it's a little bit harder. I have to, like, think about things more, I feel like. Because essentially, whatever die he has, if he tells the truth, there can only be his die plus whatever I have rolled. So, for example, if he rolled a 3 here and I said, there's at least 1 3, he's like, there's at least 2 3s. Then for me, it becomes a case of, what do I say? If I say that there's at least 1 2, he's going to see that there's at least 2 1s. What if I throw it back at him and say that there's at least 2 2s? I'm not calling it 3 1s. I know that that is not possible because I only have 1 1. And if he has a 1... Yep, look at that. See? There we go. Only 2 1s. The game is mine. I win, and I didn't even lose any dice. To the victor goes the spoils, and that's me. You collect your gold from the counter once more, and the innkeeper reluctantly counts out another 4 into your palm. That means buying the room for 7 gold pieces, I basically get paid for 1. No rematch, I've played enough. You tell him, happy with your winning streak. That was pretty much a winning streak since I won every hand of that. So, very well. The innkeeper smiles. Room costs 7 gold pieces then, as I said. And I pay. You hand over 7 gold pieces. The man shows you upstairs to a room. It seems clean enough. There are no rats on the bed, and the linen seems to have been washed at least once this month. Gonna head off to work? Alright, comp. I hope you have a good day at work then. Be successful. Make great mounds of cash. Steal from your co-workers. And if there are any customers, steal from them too. After your long day of walking, the thought of a real bed is a welcome relief. You settle down, turning over in your mind what the old man in the jail told you about the 4 spell lines required to open the north gate. Could be a problem, or perhaps your own magic will be enough? Definitely not, since it was magically sealed. And then Comp casts Fireball at his place of employment. Perfect! Wait a second, that's not a good idea, because now you don't have anywhere to work! Oh! You cast the wrong spell comp. So now we settle down to sleep. The ultimate crime punishable by death and an afterlife in hell. Steal your coworker's food. Oh my god. The worst. Going into the work fridge and just swiping people's lunches. That's the way to get everybody to hate you if they find out that you were the lunch thief. You settle quickly onto the straw mattress. The sounds of the city drift to you on the night air. Shouts and screams, and the occasional, distinct howl. You doze fitfully, turning over in your mind what the old man told you of the 4 spell lines required to open the north gate. Your dreams, when they come, are of the wall, like a towering monster drenched in moss and slime. The gate, its wide open maw. On its back is a host of guards, chanting a mantra too quietly for you to hear. As you watch, it reaches down with fingers made from flagpoles and skewers the old man, lifting him flailing into the air. Meanwhile, the one-armed prisoner throws the knuckles of his missing hand onto the bench over and over, calling endlessly to himself. And it is as though you can see the crown sitting in the dust on the far side of the north gate, so close and yet out of reach. Oh, no, I don't want to rewind, and now I go down the stairs and around, and it is now the next morning. Without being robbed or anything. You feel better for your night's rest. Going downstairs, you find the bartender miserably counting coins on the bar. Need anything? He asks, hopefully. I do need provisions, but he said there's no food here. So I guess I'll just ask for directions? The innkeeper laughs. Just follow your nose. Everything in Care stinks, so it'll take you where you need to go. You shake your head at his useless advice, and you take leave of the inn. Thanks for nothing, innkeeper. Alright, outside the air tastes fresh. It has rained a little overnight. A little distance from here, a busy crossroads marks the start of the city. Let me just open up real quick for that clue that we got. One of the nobles is now blind and begging. Okay, so if we come across that blind beggar, it's probably a noble. That means that would not be the beggar that we ran into, because he could see. Well, now the crossroads we go. Following the track for a few minutes, you reach a junction where 3 roads begin. These are the outskirts of Care. Huts huddle like beggars on either side of the tracks leading uphill into the city port. Let's look around. Are there any beggars around? Because if there are, must be clear to everyone around that you are a stranger in these parts. The city's inhabitants, a multitude of malevolent creatures who would kill for the laces of your boots, turn to watch you as they pass. You are sport, a figure to be jostled and robbed, and one who will most likely fall prey to the strange, elaborate system of traps laid across Care by the early settlers to protect themselves from one another. Let's look at the paths. There are more people here than you've seen in a long time. You cast an eye across the faces, wondering if you can tell a good, honest souls from the thieves and murderers. I look to the left, where there's some scruffy youngsters walking up the road with packs on their backs. I look ahead. Ahead is the main road into the center of Care. Its surface rutted from cartwheels. Further in the distance you see fields. This is the route taken by supply wagons to the docks. Then I look to the right, and on the right the track heads towards the fields. A hut stands proud a little further on. The business of this place is confusing, but you will have to simply strike out. You need to track down the city nobles and get spell lines for the gate that the old man told you of. At that moment, a cart rolls down from the road to the right and careens around the corner to take the main track ahead. On its back are stacked several crates. One teeters for a moment, then falls near your feet, its lid cracking open. I look down at the crate. I could steal whatever's in it, or I could help the driver out. Since I've been pretty honest so far, let's go ahead and help out the driver. I wait for the driver to stop, but they do not see you. Oh. Well, I guess I'll just take the crate for myself. There's a purple liquid leaking out from inside of it. I peek at the crate then. Kneeling down in the mud, you pry open the crate with your fingers. Inside is a pile of smashed bottles. Oh. Ruined. Thick purple liquid swirls about, littered with shards of glass. There are perhaps 4 bottles still intact, but you recognize the smell. It is blimberry, a potion with healing properties. Hell yeah, I take all 4. You take all of the bottles, wipe them down as best as you can on the grass nearby, and put them into your pack. A lucky find indeed. I tried to stop the driver, but they just continued right on. That means from that point on, it's finders keepers. And hello there, Dead and Light, and welcome to the stream. I'm doing just fine. I hope you are too. Okay, we also have a spell that does healing. There we go. And it just requires some medical potions in order to cast it. So, in addition to the fact that we've got this blimberry juice that we could eat, heal, or work for a meal, I think I should probably be able to use it to cast that spell as well. So I've moved that spell up into the group where it requires an item, and I have that item. Okay, so if I zoom out here to sort of identify where the gate is at, here's the note. Here is the north gate. And we can see the rest of the town at the same time. Obviously, right now we are very early in down here. This place is jam-packed. Yeah, there's a lot going on in here. If we go over to the right, then we would be just outside the Festival of Thieves. I don't know about that. Let's just go ahead and take the main path. Hang on. If I go to the left, that's going to path us through Dwarf Town and the Artist's Quarter. If I take the main path here, it's going to be a whole lot of just empty field area. Walking through a bunch of buildings sounds way more exciting. Let's go that way. Oh boy, they have gardens! Oh, maybe we could take a stop there later and sniff some flowers or something, huh? You follow the children with backpacks up the road. Homes, hovels, line the track, and strange faces appear at the windows, watching you as you pass. Then, from around the bend ahead, a troop of guards appears. I'm not sure exactly why I'm hiding from these guards, because I feel a little like I haven't really done anything. I got into the town, honestly, with my group with the one beggar guy, and I used a key that I got from those Svins. I don't know why they're like, you're a thief, get in trouble. And hello there, mythic dragon, and welcome to the stream. But I guess since we hid from those guards earlier, maybe I should continue doing so. I don't know if I would blend in with the youngsters very well. Maybe we'll just try to act casual and keep my head down. I feel like there's a shit ton of criminals around, and the guards, unless you're really standing out, probably aren't going to care that much, so let's just keep my head down. You walk on, keeping your head turned low, but you cannot hide your physical strength or your confidence. Here your name is fitting, the biggest con, because then it's like the biggest confidence. Ignore them because we are rebels and don't care about the authorities. Truly, I should have gone with that. Here, you! One of the guards grabs you by the arm. Don't I know your face from someplace? No? I don't think I've run into any guards right now. No? He doesn't give up so easily. Aren't you the tramp we put in the guardhouse? What? No, that... shifty-eyed, I'd look around. No. Or I could say, perhaps, but I'm free now. You just watch yourself, he hisses, giving you one last suspicious look. Or the red eyes will cut out your tongue. Then the guard patrol troops off down the street. You breathe a deep sigh of relief. A pleasant herbal smell drifts from the doorway of a nearby hut. Hey, look at that. Yep, I just need to maintain my confidence. And hello, I want to check out this hut. It smells very nice. Instead of sorcerer, you should be the swolcerer. Clearly, I say, flexing my powerful muscles. I am very strong. I just need a better sword now so I can actually kill things more effectively. Do more damage to them. Inside is dark, with the smell of rotting straw rising from a pile of mattresses that circle a low table. It is only after a moment that you notice these mattresses are occupied. 3 ugly faces peer at you through clouds of smoke, rising from a hookah pipe that sits on the table. Did I just wander into a hookah bar? Let's examine the people. Oh no, she's hot! I say, having a very different taste in what's considered attractive. You look at the 3 creatures who are staring at you with lazy disinterest. They are black elves. Normally clever and vicious creatures, but these 3 only stare vacantly into the clouds of smoke at the top of the hut. A drug den filled with creatures that are normally clever and vicious. Probably don't just pull out my sword and fight them. Why is option 2 even there? Because you are a hardcore wizard fighter, ready for any battle that faces you. Any potential battle. You walk in and you're like, ah ha ha. Black elves. They're normally dangerous. You draw your blade and slash at them. I feel like smelling the air is maybe a bad idea because perhaps it would make me sort of out of it too. Let's talk to them, see if we can't gather some information. You turn to the nearest elf and nod. Greetings, you say. The elf nods back in return. I want to ask for your help. The elf nods deeply in reply. Let's not go ahead and just straight up lie. Let's continue a sort of honest track for now and say that I hear the north gate is locked with a spell. The elf nods a 3rd time, more profoundly now. I'm on a vital mission. The elf nods again, and then I realize he is asleep. The smokers are too confused and vague. So I'm probably not going to get any information from them. They seem a little bit too tired. I smell the air, and my head spins. The smoke of the hookah is sweet and stupefying. It is weed plant. That explains the lethargy of the elves. I could join them. Of course! Weed plant! It was so obvious the entire time. Oh, that really makes me wonder what it would be like if I pull out my weapon to challenge them. They just all like look up and stare at me and be like, I'm so fucking tempted now. Let's just... We're going in. I pull out my... Oh my god, they do fight. Oh my god, they only have 5 stamina. The poor fools. You draw your weapon. These fellows are the scourge of society. And besides, if you don't attack them, they will surely attack you for your gold. The 3 elves struggle to their feet, barely understanding what's going on. You engage the first. He doesn't seem like he has much energy. Let's get him with a 6, which I did just barely beat, basically taking out all of his stamina. The black elf draws a short sword and stumbles across a pile of mattresses towards you. She strikes out for your eyeballs. You waste no time and swing at your throat. The black elf gasps, then giggles maniacally. You see blood trickling from under her clothing. If I hit again with a 6, I'm going to be... They struck with a 1. Thus, I took no stamina loss. And so, boom, beat them no problem. They have been slayed. Now, time for the second elf. We'll do the same thing. This guy has more available stamina. Since the last one went with a 6, let's go ahead and hit with an 8. We thrust. Oh, they defended. Okay, that means we're gonna have to defend here. Losing out on his stamina. I think with a 6.3 we should be fine, but they defended again, unfortunately. So then we have to defend. If we defend again, they're probably gonna do it. There we go. And now, if I just go out with all of my energy... Oh, fuck. Oh, wait, no! I got them with 2 anyway. 2 stamina lost. Competent combat. We continue. The third black elf looks at his fallen friends and races out of the door screaming at the top of his lungs. With the fight done, you look around the hut with horror. The smell of the weed plant must have been so strong as to affect your mood, because otherwise, how could you have killed 2 innocents in cold blood? You begin to panic and walk away from the murder scene. Honestly, I'm going to go back, and I really just did that because I was curious what was going to happen. So, we're going to do the same thing. We examine the people. We talk to them. We'll say I want to ask. I'm going to just go through the same options I picked before. And this time I'm going to see what happens if I join them. Here we go. The weed plant made me do it, Judge. I swear. The judge looks over to the black elf who's like, dude, when you have weed plant, it makes you chill as fuck. This shit is lying. And you're like, oh no. You gesture to the nearest elf, asking for permission to sit down beside him. He does not even notice you. Putting the pipe to your mouth, you breathe in a cloud of sweet, apple-tasting smoke. You begin to feel lightheaded. Weed plant affects different people in different ways, and you cannot be sure what it will do to you. As you wait to find out, you find yourself staring up into the clouds. Shapes seem to form themselves. There is a dragon or a milk jug. Definitely a dragon. A dragon snapping at an old man smoking a pipe. Or is it a young girl dancing in a wide, billowing dress? Not definitely an old man. An old man, yes. Your father, perhaps, before he passed on, smoking a pipe himself and telling you to train harder, to be cautious, to eat well. He never followed a word of his own advice, and now he's no longer around to hand it out. A feeling of paranoia swells up in you, and you become convinced that the guards are looking for you. After a few minutes of hiding behind the low table, you cannot take it anymore, and you burst out of the hut and run madly through the side streets. Of course, the fresh air clears your head, but by the time it does, you are somewhere else completely. Well, I was over here in this row of houses. Now I'm over here in a field. You find yourself surrounded by fields. Since no one can leave the walls of care, the citizens do their farming inside the walls, as best they can. From the field to your right, you hear a groan. To your left, a narrow path winds away. Let's continue on, paying attention to any sounds we hear. Half a dozen fat pigs are grubbing in the muck to the right. Just beyond them, a group of creatures huddle around a fire pit, from which there drifts a mouth-watering smell. I look at the creatures. Care seems to be filled with creatures you can't place. Half one thing and half another. But from the way the strange creatures at the fire pit sit and talk, it seems they do not see their own difference. Or their own differences. One sees you, however, beckoning with a large clawed hand. Oh man, are we gonna join them with some barbecue? I hope so. Hell yeah. We approach the creatures. You clamber over the fence and stride towards the creatures. Within a few paces, the smell of cooking meat reaches your nostrils, and you see a large pig turning on a spit above the fire. The creature who waved to you has watched you approach. He grins, hooked teeth, and cocks his head at you in greeting. Perhaps using magic might give you an advantage? What? What would we even use? I mean, we could do something like cast a magic defense? Or we could cast a spell and check for any traps. See if they're trapping the meat on me or something. Checking for danger. You cast a spell and a calm voice enters your mind. It tells you that the creatures nearby are friendly enough, though they will retaliate if crossed, and that the meat is fine and good. Once you are reassured, the voice departs. Oh, hell yeah! Are you ready for some barbecue? 'Cause I am. We greet the creatures. Greetings, you call. Ooh. That smells good. It is, the creature agrees. We picked the best one to bite into. He waves at you to sit down. Then you understand his generosity. They are poachers. They stole the meat. The pig fat sizzles invitingly. We sit with them. I'm ready to consume some flesh. You take place in the circle around the fire. The creatures shuffle and shift to make room for you. We don't really need to eat anything because our stamina is 20 out of 20. So I want to try to ask about Care and the North Gate first, just in case asking for some pig is going to lock me out of shit. So let's go ahead and start with the North Gate. Eat pig, rude not to. That's also true. If I avoid eating the pig, they might be like, hey, why aren't you eating any of this meat, huh? Let's ask for some pig. May I share your pig? You ask. The poachers laugh. Oh, it's not our pig, and there's plenty here. Help yourself. Oh, I take some. You reach over the fire and pull pig off and devour it. It's really good. So, I'm new to Care, you tell the gathered poachers as you bite into the pig meat. What can you tell me about the city? The creatures look between each other, entertained by your question. They suck their teeth and hum and purr. Care is a big place, one finally answers, full of people pushing each other for power. He pulls a leg from the pig, making the meat tear and stretch to demonstrate. You want to avoid all of them, if you can. Just one pig leg, please, I say, taking it for myself. Nibbling on it. Thanks, guys. The poacher pack. I take a second leg and hand it to Chat. There you go. They don't really mind, so clearly you can have some too, Chat. Now let's ask about the North Gate. I won't be staying here for long. I'm headed for the North Gate, you tell them. Can you help me find my way? The lead poacher looks back at you with interest. You're going out into the Bachlands? Why go there? My business is my own. You reply, unwilling to trust even these ruffians. The lead poacher nods, taking no offense and accepting your answer, saying as they go around doing villainy, they're like, it is your own problem. We won't pry. The North Gate is a hard thing to open, he says. I have never heard of anyone doing it. The spell lines? He nods seriously. From across the field, a woman begins to sing. The poachers smile and clap each other on the back. Oh, Circe's coming. You talk to her. Who is Circe? Circe is our treasure, the man answers. Circe is how we know what we should do. You'll see. Oh shit, she's gonna be like a future visionist oracle lady. By now, the woman has reached the group. She greets the men with a kiss on either cheek. Ooh. You notice she's carrying something carefully in a cloth. A man beside you beckons her to sit down beside him. This is our visitor. Greetings, Circe says. What can I help you with? I need to open the north gate. Since they're complimenting her so much, the poachers have been very friendly with me, so let's go ahead and return it to them. She smiles. Tricky. Very tricky. As she speaks, she squats down onto her heels and places the cloth on the ground. Unwrapping it slowly, she reveals an orb of crystal. She opens and reveals it for us, and then we just try and grab it and book it out of there when there's fucking 3 poacher dudes and her all there. I don't think this is gonna be very successful. Though, then we would be able to have future sight for ourselves if we did manage to take it from her. You are a fortune teller. Circe sees all. Oh, wait, that's one of the poachers. Circe sees all, one of the poachers calls out. For instance, which fields will be left untended? Okay, I'll hear my fortune then. The men cheer and you kneel down on the mud across from her. She holds out a palm. Cross my palm with silver. Well, I've got 26 gold. I give her a gold piece. Perhaps this will do, you say. She shakes her head and laughs. No. Silver is silver, and gold is gold. I'm sorry, but magic is as magic is. Well, shit, I don't have anything silver, though. I think all I've got is gold. And, sick, heading out now. All right. Thanks for coming on by to watch. I hope you have a nice day. I don't have anything silver, though. Circe smiles, but shrugs. Picking up her orb, she moves over to one of the other men, who hand her what looks like a silver tooth, and then sits down to hear his fortune. She places her palms on the crystal and begins to hum. This is magic you have not seen before. Ooh. A minute passes, and then Circe's eyes flick open. I see a long journey, she says to the man, to a distant land. I see danger and excitement. Okay, we continue watching. You keep your eyes fixed on her closed eyelids as she talks, trying to catch the reflection of any stars. I see more. You must watch for a dagger and a fish. I see a road paved with white stone leading to a place of great sadness. A blind man who will stab you in the back. Uh-oh. That blind man might be that noble, I wonder. I guess that's something to keep in mind, is that even though we are not receiving this fortune, this is information that we can take for ourselves. So this man is getting this fortune, but I take the fortune. I keep the fortune for myself, as if this fortune was my own. Oh, I could offer to read her fortune. I do have a spell that lets me see future sight. She would just have to let me borrow her orb. Let me try reading your fortune, you declare into the quiet that follows her reading. You tell everyone else's. You must be curious about your own. Circe stops eating to stare at you. There is a murmur of excitement from the group. This is a most unusual challenge. You? She demands. And what do you know of fortune-telling? Well, I'm a sorcerer. Evil Caco, that's right. I take what I want when I want it, though I will always be polite about it first. She raises a thin, dark eyebrow in cool surprise. Oh, are you? You hold out a hand for the crystal orb. Not taking her eyes off you, she puts it in your hand. Then she sits defiantly down in front of you. Well then, tell me what you see for poor old Sorcery, she declares, her eyes flashing with challenge. You take a moment to collect your thoughts. The orb is pleasingly heavy in your palm. We cast a spell. Caco taking lunch money now? Ugh. I should have said that you have to pay me for this. Or I should have lied and said something else I require for the spell is some gold, so give me some of that first. Okay. So for the future sight spell, we want far, wherein we will see the future. You cast the spell, placing your hands on the crystal orb. Your mind clears and a vision forms. But it is not of Sorcery and her future, but of your own. You see yourself in a low stone shrine, somewhere here in the city of Care. A man in a long white robe stands at your elbow. He is speaking. What is the answer to the question that has never been asked? You see your own mouth opening to reply. I keep listening. You concentrate as hard as you can, struggling to maintain the vision. Then, as it begins to slip, there is a touch on your hand. Another presence joins yours. We're going to continue. Sorcery? You breathe. In your vision, you see the man in the white robe bow his head, defeated at the word. The vision fades. Sorcery is watching you intently, wanting to hear her fortune. The crowd around lean eagerly in. I see your fortune, you begin. I'm lying, I guess. I can either just go balls to the wall here and be like, well, I see you losing several friends. I then gaze around at all the poachers gathered at the fire. Or I just say the obvious and say, I see you telling great fortunes. Oops, that's what you were already doing. I never said my fortune telling was good, with a shrug. I see you telling great fortunes, you say, and you see her smile perk up. Is that all? She asks nervously. I see you giving me this orb. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Eh? And I start pulling it towards myself. How about divulging a secret? I don't know if she's going to give up that orb to me. I see you divulging a secret, you continue. Sorcery looks stunned by your words. She clearly believes you are a true psychic. A great and weighty decision seems to pass across her face. She looks to you for a moment to confirm it, then nods once more and turns to her friends. Please, be quiet, all of you, she says quietly. The stranger is right, and I must make a confession. Oh, hell yeah, we're gonna wait and watch. I have told great fortunes. Good ones, Sorcery continues sadly, but not true ones. That's my secret. Oh shit, Sorcery doesn't actually have the ability to fortune tell. Oh my god. The poachers cannot believe their ears. That means if I said that she was gonna lose friends, she's like, oh no, fuck. That means that all of those times that I have told fortunes to them, they thought I was being honest and now I have just killed them. Oh no. The poachers cannot believe their ears. One denies it, another claims to have known all along. A third, who it seems lost a lot of money on a bet once, becomes enraged and is held back by two more. Within a few moments, the whole group are rolling around in the mud, engaged in the most almighty punch-up. I sneak off with the orb. Uh-oh. In the commotion, it's easy for you to get away until one of the men shouts, "It's all her doing!" I run for it. You try to run, but a man the size of a horse dives for your legs, and a moment later, you're down in the mud, in the middle of the bruise-up of your life. You crawl out from under a pile of 15 men! Holy shit, to find the precious orb has shattered to a million fragments. And several of those fragments have cut you in the leg inside. You limp back to the road. Well, shit. Guess I'm not getting an orb today. Okay, if I go along this narrow path, that's gonna take me, to this extremely fancy house. If I continue along uphill, that's gonna take me closer to Mansion Row. Okay, so they made the comment about 4 nobles, huh? And that was a shame. I was so close to being able to not take their lunch money, but to take their orb. But I was too hasty. I should have just tried to break up the fight. Though I could see instead, I attempt to break up the fight and they're like, wait a second, this is your fault. Too late now. So if we have one little gated house right here, or I should say walled, one... I wonder if you could consider that a little walled building too. That would be a second one though. Because then you'd have 3 right here. Because I could see the case that those 3 houses, and maybe like this giant no, this artist quarter giant building is definitely like some sort of fancy gallery. So I don't think that would be the case. Or that to be a noble house, but I feel like this might be. So let's head over in this direction. You leave the road and follow the path as it winds through the fields, along the lower edge of a high fault in the rock. Let's keep walking. You stride on through the fields, keen to regain the streets once more. You stay on the path until it climbs gently, approaching a low, ruined wall at the back of a grand building. We look at the building. You stop to look over the building. It is a tall, 3-story mansion, crumbling around the edges now, but it must have once been home to a powerful and important family. It is surrounded by wide grounds, an ornamental garden, now overgrown and tangled. The house is bordered by a tall stone wall, broken at the path. On the far side, you see an ironwork gate hanging off its hinges. Well, what's the point of turning around now? We're almost inside. We go to the house grounds. It seems a little bit abandoned, so you clamber over the wall into the wide grounds of the grand old house. You are surrounded by a thicket of gorse and thorny gripweed, and through the brambles, you can see the lower floors of the building. I search the bushes, and finding at its heart a small statue of a fat, cheerful-looking god, with a third eye in the middle of its forehead. Well, since I took the time to search this in the first place, I might as well grab the idol too. Looking more closely, you see there are small depressions on the surface of the stone, on the idol's 2 eyes, at his forehead, and on his nose. It seems like we might need to touch them in a certain order. Yeah, it is an odd place to find that. A little bit cursed seeming, perhaps. Probably there's a case where if I push them in a certain combination, it would unlock some kind of secret. But I don't know what that would be, or if I would have learned it from somebody. Let's start with the forehead. Nothing happens. How about the nose? No result. Left eye. Ooh, a gentle light begins to glow behind the statue's eye. Right eye. Forehead. Oh, the statue's mouth drops open. I kiss the statue. You lean in and kiss the statue on its open mouth. Some kind of liquid spits between your lips and you leap back, clutching your throat. It does not seem to be poison. In fact, a moment later, you are feeling much stronger. Look at that, it restored my stamina. You thank the god for its kindness. I give the statue a little pat on its head. Then make your way carefully out of the thorn bush. Lesson learned, chat. If you ever find a statue looking for a kiss, make sure you kiss it back. Mwah! You have found 1 clue and another clue has been updated. What did I get for nothing? What was the other clue that got updated? Hang on. I wasn't expecting that. No, I wasn't expecting to kiss a statue. Clues. The answer to the question. In a vision, you saw the answer to the question that has never been asked. Sorcery. The ritual of Kurga. The ritual of Kurga begins with the left eye, moves to the right eye, then touches his forehead. Oh! Well, I managed, I guess, to do it on total accident. That's pretty good. Well, let's approach the house now. Clue, that statue is a great kisser. Hell. You stride up to the middle of the yard when suddenly something knocks into you from behind, sending you sprawling across the dirt. You spin around to see a giant bat towering over you, its clawed wings spread wide with bloodied talons. Uh-oh. Let's see, what sort of spell can I cast to help me out in battle? Of course, always influenced by what letters it's giving me an option of here. Because if we did D, we could do something like Dump for clumsiness or Dawes for slow. We could do something like Magic Defense, but I don't think I would need Magic Defense against this bat. And this is a G. We don't have any spells that would work with G. Okay, so clumsiness is 3 stamina. And if I do slow, that's 1 stamina. I wonder if I can make it slow during the fight. You cast a spell and the bat begins to move extremely slowly. Its wings beating like the waving of a flag in a vague breeze. Somehow it still manages to stay airborne, but it will be much easier to kill now. Look at its teeny tiny stamina bar. That's a good use of 1 stamina. Let's hit it with 5. I can't imagine this is going to be more than that, but it does defend. The creature's eyes glow a fierce, maddening red. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and just straight cut it again with a 5. 1.9 apparently takes up, like, half of its stamina. So if I just cut it again, that takes out 2. And we're gonna defend this time. Hits me with a 1. Which means that I can just go ahead and finish it off here. Easy. Only losing 1 stamina. Bang. Easy. You turn to face the house once more. The front door is as wide as 2 men and stands imposingly sealed. From beside the door, you notice a small drinking fountain, still bubbling with water. Alright, we approach. You stride up the steps of the to the door of the grand house. Let's go ahead and just try it first. It's locked, okay. Let's try knocking on the door. You walk up to the door and knock, just to make sure. No one answers. A slate skitters off the roof and smashes itself on the ground. I wonder if I try breaking down the door. Hang on, if I knock again, will I knock more things off of the roof? You knock a second time louder as you wait to see if it will be answered. You notice a curious detail. There are deep grooves carved into the wood of the door, radiating outwards from the keyhole. It's as though something had exploded out through it, or perhaps attached itself on the outside to force its way in through the lock? I'm kind of horrified that the lock might actually be, you know, a trap, and it would just shoot out a spear right at me if I try to lean in and look, and I'll just be like, what's in this lock? And I would lean over down to it, and then I would be injured and blind in that eye. If I cast a spell here, then I feel like sus is probably the spell I've used the... God damn it, kiss the door? Hell, why didn't I think of that? You cast the spell, and a calm, collected voice tells you that inside the house is nothing but death, despair, and destruction. The voice, having delivered its warning, then fades away. A cool wind moves through the trees in the yard, making evil whispering sounds. Sus is a rather helpful spell, it's true. Now, Sus is warning me about danger in this household, but it doesn't tell me that there isn't valuable loot here too. So while there might be death inside, if I went in there and found out one of the parts of the spell that I need, is that really a loss, you know? Danger doesn't... Usually, danger means loot, indeed. I kind of want to see what happens if I try and break down the door, honestly. Rebounds, but it does not break. I did lose a stamina over that. We're just gonna look at the fucking keyhole. Here we go. You drop to your knees and put your eye to the keyhole. At first you can see nothing, and then the darkness inside begins to take shape. You can make out a long, lonely hallway running back into the house. The walls are lined with framed pictures and the surfaces with expensive ornaments. It doesn't look like the house has been emptied at all. A long wooden rail runs along the inside of the hallway. Here I'm using... Man, I feel bad. I wonder if I could go back out to the statue and get it to re-heal me. Monster House wants kisses for entry. Truly the way to get in. And so, I unlock the door with my dop spell. You step inside the great stone house. A cold silence descends, quite different from the dusty heat outside. This place feels like it has not been lived in for decades, although judging by the lack of dust, it may not have been quite so long. Floorboards creak underfoot. At the end of the hallway is a sealed door. Is that a chink of light just visible beneath the frame? We're inside. I spent, 3 stamina points trying to break in here? Technically even more because I used some stamina on that bat. So a total of 7 stamina up here I have used. I'm not backing down now. We creep forwards. You make your way along the corridor. The walls on either side are lined with large portraits of dusty-looking men and sour-faced women who sneer at you as you pass. I ignore the paintings. I keep going. You pass a large metal coal scuttle sitting against the left-hand wall. I look at it. Or I look in it. You stop to look inside the scuttle, but the inside is blackened, and in the darkness it seems as though an infinitely deep pit was contained inside. This seems kind of risky. Here I am in spooky death house, and I gaze over at Pot. Oh, it looks like there's a void inside. Let's go ahead and put my hand in. That seems like a great idea. I'm gonna leave the pot and just stay focused on getting to the end. They're trying to distract me with different items around. These paintings, distractions. This pot, distractions. We continue on forward. You reach the far end of the hall. It is only a short way from the entrance, but all is now in shadow. The only light comes from the gap around the frame of the door in front of you. More darkness wells up to the right. You can just make out the first few steps of a flight of stairs, leading upwards to the second level of the house. It's too bad I don't have something. There's a sun jewel that I can get that would allow me to cast a sun spell, which would create a torchlight, but I don't have that. So we have study and stairs. Let's continue down to the end and go into the study. That heartbeat really adds to the spooky ambience of this place. Yes, that's my beating heart, of course. The tension rises. You push open the door and enter a wide paneled room with a thick carpet. It is a study of some kind. The source of the light under the door frame becomes quickly apparent. A roaring fire burns in an enormous grate on one side of the room. Let's look around the room first, before we just head straight over to the fire. You search around the room. The furniture is grand, carved and stained and inlaid with patterns of goblin bone. But there are no possessions to be seen. No ornaments, no jewels, no treasure, and no sign of the owner. It is as if whoever lived here had moved out, or, more likely, as though the place had been thoroughly robbed. With the door shut, you would expect this room to be swelteringly hot, but like the rest of the house, it is icy cold. I go up to the fire. You go over to the fire to warm your hands, only to find it emits no heat at all. It burns no fuel either. The enormous grate, large enough to roast a whole boar, is entirely empty of wood, ash, or coal, but the flames are nonetheless brilliant and as high as a man. Okay, I can look into the flames, reach into the fire, or cast a spell. If this was something like a sun gem and it functioned like, or sun jewel, and it looked like it was a fire and that's how the spell worked, I wonder if I could deactivate the spell by casting that. Or on the other hand, if I cast the magic defense spell, if that would let me reach into the fire and take this gem. If that's even an option. Okay, so I am now protected by any magic. What? That's not what I wanted to do. I thought I was going to be able to reach into the fire. Yo, what the fuck? I feel robbed. I'm going back over to the fire. I'm looking into the flames. Peering deeper at the base of the fire, you see there is definitely nothing burning there. The flames spring into life a finger's width above the grate. They are so bright you can make out nothing beyond, but it seems that the hearth goes back some distance. I step into the hearth. Stealing your courage, you duck your head and step into the grate. The flames surround you, their crackles whispering in your ears as though you stood in a pit of snakes. But you feel no heat. Your skin does not blister and your clothing does not ignite. You stand in the middle of the fire like some kind of demon and feel no ill effects at all. From here you can see that the hearth extends backwards much further than you might expect it. Is it a tunnel? Or do you stand inside a trap? Its jaws about to spring shut. As I enter into the fire, I see that the Lichy Popo is also standing there. Oh, whoa, I didn't know you were here. Hi, what's up, Popo? And thank you for resubscribing for 6 months. Very appreciated. I motion with my hands. Come on, let's go further. Deeper into the fire we go. You creep forward across the grate, through the flames and beyond, into a low stone alcove hidden by the fire. The walls are made of solid slabs of stone, and there is nothing here. No treasure, no secret doors. On the far wall are a strange set of markings, a series of long grooves, like scratches, radiating outwards from a small hole. I feel the grooves in the stone wall. They are a lot like the grooves you saw around the keyhole of the front door. They have been carved lightly and roughly, with a dagger point rather than a chisel, perhaps, but the small hole at the center is much more cleanly formed. I examine it. You put one finger into the small hole. Oh, wow! There's a hole in this wall? I need to examine this. I stick my finger inside of it. I can't find the bottom of it, and it seems polished and smooth. It looks like a bolt hole you might find in the stonework of a fortress doorway, except for its position, in the middle of a blank wall. A keyhole? I don't have a key, but I can cast a spell. Kiss hole. Not everything needs to be smooched. Incredible doubt there, Skelly. If you can kiss it, kiss it. Everything needs to be smooched. You cast the spell across the grooved wall in front of you, but nothing happens. Perhaps it's not a door after all. Or perhaps it is locked with a fearsome magic your own spell cannot overcome? It's impossible to be sure. What if I could cast fire on it? This is going to take me a lot of stamina, but we're going to try it anyway. What does how do? That came up. How asks which path I should take. That's interesting. I don't know how that would help. You cast the spell, creating a fireball of powerful heat and light in the palm of your hand. The dead end quickly heats up, but in the light you can make out a few suggestive cracks in the in the left hand wall. It seems like one of the stones might move, but how, there's no way to tell. Then the fireball flickers and fades. The cracks fall into shadow once more, and the sweltering heat fades to your relief. I feel over it. No longer find the cracks you saw in the light of your fireball. What I need is that sun jewel. I wonder if I can go back and grab it. Is it gonna let me look back at the fire? No. Excuse me. Hang on then. We go over to the fire. We're going to reach into the fire. Nothing happens. It's merely an illusion. Oh, is that it? Okay. We're back here examining the hole. And if it is a keyhole like the front door, it's possible we might have to come back to this door with the key in order to open it. There's not too much else we can... Like, the only magical spells that we have that I have the items for is Reading Minds, Exploding Rocks, and Healing. I can't cast anything else with items. And we already tried casting Hot. However, there's also How, which is finding safe passage. Since there were all those little paths that go to the center where that hole is, what I could see is if you took your finger and traced one of those lines over to the center, perhaps. And hello there, Steven, and welcome to the stream. You cast a spell, and a calm, clear voice enters your mind, telling you that there are 2 exits from this dead end. One is behind you, and this way leads to the outside. Another is to your left, but you can't see it or how you open it. And I know that my unlock spell doesn't work here. So, my options are limited. Sap. I'm not sure that's an actual spell I can cast. What is that? Cause depression? Oh yeah, it makes enemies sad. Is there a Z at all? TDSH. Yeah, I don't think I can cast anything useful. I already tried Dot, and that doesn't work. Sap, and then the other one would be Sus, and there's no reason to check for any danger, because I know there is none. T has nothing. So there's no spell that's very useful here. Unless casting How first makes it so that I can be prepared if I cast Hot. Yeah, no good. So, on the other hand, then, I'm going to go back one more time. I look at the fire real quick. Oh, I accidentally skipped them. I wonder if I can use the sun spell I have here and find out that there's that stone I can take. Nope, I can't do that. It just lets me cast Sus, which I don't really care for. I wonder, on the other hand, if I could cast a spell that would instead react. Like if I cast Hot at the entrance right here. Oh, I can't cast. All I can cast is Huff. What would Huff do? Oh, creates wind, huh? Can't do that. I don't need to cast a magic barrier. I wonder what happens if I make it dark here instead. Nope. I just find out. I'm just gonna stay with that since I tried a bunch of other combinations there. And hello there, RRCPF, and welcome to the stream. You head out of the room and back into the corridor. A chill breeze drifts from the stairwell. So, we head up the stairs. You place your foot on the first step of the stairwell, and suddenly it begins to move. Is it alive? Some kind of thin, flat beast? Or is it a trap? I grab the handrail. Only to find it's also moving. I hold on anyway. You cling onto the rail to keep yourself upright. It seems the rail is moving at the same speed as the step underneath you. Ahaha! I rise to the top of the stairwell in a smooth motion and jump off in perfect safety. It's essentially just an escalator. In before the key to the room is one room over. Here I just go upstairs and instantly I find a key. Oops. You look around. You are on an upstairs landing with doors on either side. Got a library and we got a bedroom. Let's go to the library first. There's some eyes looking back at me. I look at the eyes. You step forward boldly, your own eyes fixed on those across the room from you. They do not blink, they do not even move as you approach. It's probably nothing and is just a pair of fake eyes. So, we're just gonna keep staring at it. You stop and try to stare the creature out. It is agonizing work. A minute goes by and still neither of you have blinked. I keep staring. The eyes still do not react, and then you see why. They're the eyes on a portrait that hangs over the far wall in shadow, but for a dim sunbeam falling through a gap in the roof above. Me, extremely stupid. Thought some portrait painting's eyes were a real living thing. The painting is of a proud and stern-looking man, dressed in loose leather armor, with a serpent emblem stitched along the length of one arm. The painting fills the entire wall of the room, and must be twice the height of the man who posed for the likeness. I look at the man. It's true, I do love art. I steal a painting and leave. You step back a little to regard the man in the picture. The most striking thing about him are his eyes, cold and cruel. They seem to gleam with cunning and the will to survive. They are the eyes of a man who would harm you if it suited him, knowing full well what it was he did. Otherwise, he stands tall and proud, with one hand on a hilt of a sword, and the other wielding a tiny dagger. Everything about him reeks of power and of threat. The picture must be of the man that lived in this house. For anyone else, it would surely cast too long a shadow to live beneath. The eyes of the painting seem to follow you as you move. I look behind the painting. You raise one corner of the frame from the wall and peer up behind it, but it is too dark to see if there's anything hidden there. Oh, well, I'm moving the painting. You grab the base of the painting between outstretched hands, then heft the frame up and off the hook that holds it to the wall. There's a moment when you think you have it under control, then you are holding the true weight of the picture and begin to stagger backwards. I try to balance it. Oh, lost some stamina there. You backpedal across the room, trying to keep your balance. The painting threatens to topple at any moment. If you can just get turned around, you'll be able to lean the painting against the wall. I step backwards and to the right. And suddenly your foot is in space. You have stepped backwards out of the door and into the stairwell. The next moment you are falling and the painting tumbling down on top of you. I was kind of attempting to step around the desk that I saw on there, but looks like instead I've just fallen down the stairs. Whoops. The way upstairs is now blocked. What the fuck? I refuse to accept that. I'm rewinding and I'm getting the painting again. We look at the man. I look behind the painting. Yeah, basically dying from that painting. I was at 12 stamina and that took me down to 6. Jesus Christ. What if I just straight drop it? The weight of the frame is too much. You let go of the painting and it crashes to the floor, landing on your foot. You howl in pain as the painting teeters, then tilts until it is leaning once more against the wall. We look at the end of the wall. You look over where the painting had hung, but there is nothing of interest, just its dark outline. I guess that's it from this room. I'm not sure if properly moving it somewhere else would have changed anything, but I guess I'll accept the consequences this time. I go into the bedroom. Ouch, ouch, owie moment. Yeah, when you have something heavy and you just drop it right down onto your foot. You step through the doorway into a simple bedroom. The bed is unmade and looks as though its owner left in a hurry. Personal effects are scattered all over the floor, as if the place has been ransacked, which it probably was. A cane leans by the bedside. You see nothing else of interest. Hello, I am taking the shit out of this cane. The cane is a simple, straight stick with a leather loop at the top to slip around the wearer's wrist. It does not look like any sort of weapon, and it does not appear to be magic. I'm taking it. You take it, although you cannot think what it might be for. A second door leads further into the house. Or you could return to the stairwell. And we're going to check out the bathroom, too. It's time, chat. I turn on the bathtub. I take off my clothes, and I jump right in. Oh, and there's a little rubber ducky there, right next to it. I grab the rubber ducky. Wonderful. I then take a well-deserved break bath. And then I finish and hop out. The further door leads to a bathroom. There is nothing in it, not even a mirror, only a gap where one used to hang. The only fixture is an empty iron bathtub in the middle of the tiled floor. Excuse me? Artist and writer, the bathtub does not appear to be in the middle of the room, but appears to be in the corner, in fact. I look under the bath. You crouch down and peer underneath it. Something darts at your face? I'm gonna look again. You crouch down again and peer under the bath a second time, just in time to see a rat disappearing through a crack in the floorboards. Welp, bye, rat. And I guess I'm just going to slowly walk back downstairs. And I would love to go back to the study and into the fire again. Is it not going to give me that option? Because if it's not giving me that option, then fuck it. I'm going to rewind so I can go upstairs to take the cane. We're going back to look around. And we're not going over to the fire. I leave the room. We start climbing up the stairs. Oh, I interrupted the rat's bath. Oh, that's very rude of me. I should apologize. And hello there, the consultant, and welcome to the stream. Grab the handrail. I hold on. I go up the stairs. I ignore the painting. I go to the bedroom. Oh, I guess since I looked at the painting first, we're gonna do that. And noted, like, what it looked like in the painting. That's why I was able to take the cane, I guess. I look at the eyes, we stare at the eyes, we continue to stare at the eyes, and then we look at the painting. The game wants you to do things in a very particular order. Alright, top of the stairs. Go into the bedroom. I look at the cane, and I take the cane. And now we go back down to the study. And see, now we can go over to the fire. So then I step into the fire. And then we descend deeper in. And now we're going to take the cane and shove this into the hole. Feel the grooves. And hello there, Dunder, and welcome to the stream. I look at the small hole. A keyhole. And then I put the walking cane in. You raise the walking cane and slip the tip into the small hole in the back of the fireplace. It fits perfectly. There is a click. For a moment, nothing happens. And then very slowly, the stones begin to move. A passageway has opened to your left. We go into the passageway. Dunno. Oh, is this like a little secret crypt? Oh. Slipping through the narrow opening, you find yourself in a slightly wider space. The walls are cool stone and there are no windows, but the room is not dark. In one corner, an idol stands on a small shrine, lit by 2 candles which burn with thin, cold flames. This place reeks of death and decay. The shrine is covered in thin, blood-soaked strips of cloth. I look at the cloth. The bandages are each an arm span long and deep as your thumb. Each is bloodied in 2 places, spaced a finger's widths apart. There are 30 or 40 such bandages here running down from the shrine like streamers. Someone was injured for a long time. Please be vampires. Imagine getting some vampire allies. Let's search the bandages. Oh, hell yeah. Something gleams from within the pile and you uncover a silver badge. It is the badge of a noble of care. Hell yeah, I take it. You place it carefully in your pack, you glance behind you, suddenly terrified that the secret door might swing shut and leave you trapped in this place. Let's hope that's not the case. Please be a vampire mummy. Truly that would make more sense with all the bandages. The shrine is poor and cheap. Unlike everything else in this house. It seems to have been hastily built out of uneven stones and a plank of wood, and the small statue of a fat god that sits on it has been molded from humble clay. You start to get the jitters down here. Uh-oh, it's the Kurga. I know what to do for this then. It must be some local deity. At the base of the statue is the name Kurga. Above his head is a plaque with a short inscription, and on his face are painted 4 red dots. I read the inscription. The inscription is scrawled as though in the hand of a child. You have to squint to read it. Give me back my eyes. I look at the dots. The dots on the idol seem to have been daubed with a fingertip. They are perhaps directions on how to worship the god, but there is no indication of what to do, or in what order, only the places. Both eyes, the third eye is his forehead and his mouth. There is nothing more to be seen in this terrible place. You slip back out of the room, out of the fireplace, and into the hallway. I guess this is how I learn about how I should go out back and worship that little Kurga statue. but I did so completely on accident anyway. So, now I guess I leave. Back outside in the daytime. Huh. Hang on, there's a fountain over here. I look at the fountain. A fountain by the door is still bubbling. Cupping your hands, you drink a deep mouthful and feel much better. It is time to be moving on. And now I'm back at 16 out of 20 stamina. Lovely. So good at kissing, you didn't even need to go in there. It's true. I was able to activate the kissing powers from the statue without even learning about it. And now we're back on the road towards the Dwarf Town and the Artist Quarters. Well, let's go ahead and follow the path then. If we look over the left here, we see that there's a side road and there's a guardsman here. We could... Oh, hang on. I remember this. When we entered in here and we looked around, and I think this is a guard's place, so I don't know about going over there. Let's just go ahead and continue along the main road. As you press on up the road, you notice the huts on either side are getting smaller. The roadway is now bustling with dwarves and other small fellows. It seems from the contemptuous looks you are receiving that the inhabitants of this sublet are not kindly disposed towards human-sized outsiders. I walk on my knees. Clearly they're not going to get offended by this at all. I just keep walking. I walk on, smiling at all the short people around here. Finally, I feel tall and powerful. You reach the middle of the dwarf ghetto. A small square with a general store off to one side. Further up the street, you see a small crowd gathered around two scuffling creatures. It's like those joke images of whenever they have a tall person and a short person, and the one image displays, "Do not do this." And the person is like crouched down a little bit, hunched over with their hands on their knees as if they're talking to a small child. And then the other image is them just looking down towards the short person and the short person looking up towards them. That's what this would be kind of comparable to. I see all of the people around, all of the dwarves and other short people, and I'm like, well, clearly, to not offend them, I better walk on my knees myself. And then I get down, and then all the dwarves stare, and they're just all like, dude, what the fuck? Just because we're stuck being this height doesn't mean you need to bring yourself down too. Holy hell. Let's go with... Yeah, let's go with the store first. You duck your head to squeeze through the doorway of the dwarf store. The proprietor is a stocky type of advanced years who peers at you through a pair of bottle glass spectacles balanced on a long and gnarly nose. "You're not a dwarf," he observes with uncanny accuracy as you enter. "It's true, Mr. Dwarf Man. I am not a dwarf," I indicate to my much taller height. I want to look around. The dwarf shrugs. "Then look away. If you've got enough room to turn that big empty head of yours." Oh, you browse the shelves of the shop. Is he telling me to leave, or is he just telling me to turn my head and see what sort of stuff he has? And hello, we've got a selection of gauntlets, potion of mystery, provisions, honeycomb of beeswax, and a small vial of dust. Okay, this honeycomb of beeswax would let me get a double damage, or be able to cast a spell of double damage. What kind of dust? Is it wish dust? Drug dust? That's entirely possible. I would have to take a look at these other items. Vial of dust, potion of mystery, and selection of gauntlets to see exactly what they are and if any of them would be used to me. At the very least, I would like to buy some provisions. You look over at the food on sale. It seems palatable enough. A stack of flatbreads and some hard, squeaky cheese. Squeaky cheese? The cheese, so polished to perfection. Run your finger along it and just It's like it's talking as if it were a mouse. You grab the cheese, you bend over to the floor and you start rubbing it. And then a bunch of rats run out and they're like, rat friend? No. Wait, is that trees? And then they grab it and they flee and you're like, oh, fuck, that's not what I meant. So, 3 gold pieces per meal, the dwarf says. It looks like he has 4 meals worth on his shelf. We'll buy 1. And now, let's look around at what else there is. The dwarf points at the vial of dust. You should consider buying that, he remarks. No one else has. Well, alright. I look over at the dust then. You lift the vial of dust from its place on the shelf and turn it over in your hand. It sparkles a little in the light. Ooh. I wonder what that could be. Perhaps even if I could see what color it is, that would help indicate what I could do with it. Because if it was stone dust, that would allow me to cast Petrify. If it gave me... if it was yellow, then I could cast a super speed spell. If it was just sand, then I would be able to cast quicksand, but I'm not sure. What exactly is this, sir? You could shake it and then undo the stopper. Let's start by shaking it. You shake the vial. The grains inside move around, catching the light. Definitely not ordinary dust, but what is it? If I try to undo the stopper, is he gonna be like, whoa, what the fuck are you doing? You move to open the stopper, but the dwarf reacts with lightning speed. Don't! He exclaims. It will spill everywhere, and then I'll have to clear it up. It's just a vial of glitter, and that's it. No one else has bought it because they know the hell that is glitter. I buy it anyway because it looks pretty. It's sand. There we go. Well, that's fine. I can use this for casting. So I'm going to move the spell that requires sand up to the top. So right now, the spells that I'm able to cast that require items are Read Mind, Explode Rock, Heal, and Quicksand. So if I throw this at somebody's feet, we'll be able to sink them down into the ground. At least it has use. I imagine most items we come across probably will. Let's look at the gauntlets. You notice 2 kinds of gauntlets on sale in the shop. Chainmail ones and leather ones. 5 pieces for either, the dwarf remarks, helpfully. Chainmail is hard to make, but leather is harder to come by. There seems to be nothing else to distinguish between them, and since you only have 1 pair of hands, there seems to be little use in buying more than 1. It's true. You only have 1 pair of hands, you can't wear multiple gloves at a time. It just becomes tossed up. What kind of gauntlets would you want? Chainmail or leather? We'll ask for his opinion, since I don't think any of my spells require a certain kind of glove to use. The dwarf looks at you and thinks for a moment, as though considering your character. Leather, he says eventually. Of course, whether you can trust them or not is another question entirely. Well, he told me to buy that vial of dust, and he never really lied about what it is. He just never really told me. Though the fact that it seems like he doesn't like me very much, he might be lying to me overall about everything, or because his priority as a shopkeeper comes first. That might be another point of consideration, too. So the question becomes, do I trust him and buy a pair of gauntlets of the leather variety? Or do I be suspicious of him and buy the chainmail ones? Your hands are far too dainty. Not large and powerful like a dwarf's, so leather would suit you better.
I look him over. What, does he think I'm weak or something? I grab the chainmail gauntlets and purchase them instead.
Let's just go with leather. You hand over 5 gold pieces and place the leather gauntlets onto your wrists. You suddenly feel more skillful and proficient in your sword arm? Hey, oh, is that sensation an illusion? You cannot be sure. Oh, hell yeah. Could this chainmail affect stamina more? That's possible. But if this is accurate, we just got some enchanted leather gauntlets. We buy nothing else and we leave. That's enough for me, you say. The dwarf nods. A pleasure doing business with you, he replies. You head back out in the sunlight and stretch to your full height. I peek at my items. Well, the one that I got is not listed under magical. It's just over here in other. No. Walking cane is another. Is it in treasure? No. Aha, here we go. It's in weapons, which apparently I can drop the gauntlets. I walk inside, spend 5 gold to buy the gauntlets, put them on. I'm like, these feel like they make me more powerful. I walk outside, I take them off, and I drop them, and I keep walking. Punching gloves? Oh man, can I be a professional boxer now? Let's go to the crowd. You push your way through the small crowd. In the center, 2 tiny creatures are grappling fiercely with each other. One is a pixie, and the other a sprite. The onlookers are quite fascinated, with some cheering on the pixie, and others rooting for the sprite. It's gambling time. Who's gonna win? A guy looks over at me and is like, you wanna throw on a bet? And I'm like, hell yeah! And then I throw all my 15 gold pieces at him, and I say, that one's going to win. And then they lose, and I look to the camera and say, ha ha ha! Finger in the air, I put it down on an invisible clock, I wind back the time, and then I bet on the other creature, and I double my gold. Thanks, time manipulation. You appear to have just caught the end of the fight. The sprite looks almost exhausted. See, look at that, I could place a bet. The sprite somewhat reminds me of Jan. I think to the past. Let's just watch it. You watch the fight. It doesn't last long. The sprite goes for the pixie with a tiny arm lock. The pixie ducks, spins around with a flying high kick, and knocks the sprite reeling backward across the dirt. With a hop, skip, and a jump, the pixie is sitting on the fallen sprite's chest with 2 fingers up its nostrils. Do you yield? It squeaks. The other creature makes a yelping noise. Presumably a yes. The crowd cheers! And the debts start settling up, or settled up. Eventually, the crowd disperses. I probably could have attempted to save the sprite and gained an ally, sure, but I didn't, so now I just continue on. You follow the road up a gentle rise, towards a building with a... Plus, if I did save a sprite, if they're anything like Jan, they're gonna deactivate my fucking magic again, and... No thank you, all those times I casted sus, I would not be able to do anymore. You follow the road up a gentle rise, towards a building with a large domed roof. All the various alleys seem to converge on it, and it is thronged with people. From here, it seems that there is no way around. Well, I guess I'll just approach the building then. The road becomes narrower as the slum dwellings on either side become more built up. Finally, it opens onto a small plaza in the shade of the large, domed building. It is some kind of sprawling covered market. Looking left and right, you see several other roads entering the building through different archways. A group of serpent heads are just passing by. Is this some kind of race or a group of people? I talk to them. You stop one. Greetings, you begin. What is this place? The serpent head looks back at you, unimpressed. It's the artist's quarter. They have a roof over them, or their paints run and they complain.
Nothing worse than a complaining artist,
Remarks the second creature. Thanks, I guess.
You're welcome.
Replies the first serpent head, who appears to speak quite normally. What? First serpent head, normal speech. Second serpent head has an intense lisp for some reason. But I'll give you a tip. Don't pose for any pictures. You'll regret it. With that, the serpent heads march away inside the building. The market seems a confusing place. The tracks head off into bushes near its walls. You may be able to find a way around after all. Flashbacks to intro. I sneak away from the market. The market is no doubt a haven for thieves and pickpockets. You make your way around outside, fighting through bushes and over obstacles, until you are close to the base of the city wall. The going is easier now, across open scrub and path winding between the occasional tree. We're just gonna sneak right around the artists' quarters, around the weirdo artists, and all of their paintings. From the market building comes the sounds of 100 milling voices, and the occasional laugh and scream. Through a barred window, you see a tall flame, flickering and snapping, but it does not seem to be spreading. A crow circles above the wall to your left. Is this based off of a book? I am pretty sure it is, or off tabletop game things or something similar.
I'm mostly aware of the game itself, so don't ask me.
But hello there, Grey Wish, and welcome. It definitely does play a lot like a choose-your-own-adventure book. Alright, let's watch the burn. I guess Caco hates art now. I've always hated art. I might be an artist, but everything I complete, I look upon and say, I hate this. As always. Now someone buy this, putting it up for auction, $200. Let's see, you got any bids? Got any bids? There you can observe Mythic Dragon over there, posting boon speed, which I 100% made, and every time I gaze upon it, I nearly throw up. Every time somebody uses one of my own emotes, I have to restrict myself, hold myself back from gagging, because I hate it. Because I hate art. Crow's Feast. But they're so good, that doesn't stop me from hating it, because art is the worst. I can't believe I ever became an artist. What have I done? Oh, and hello there, and welcome to the stream, Musclewart. Crow's Feast on Carrion, and this bird is circling just above the wall. Has something tried to attack the city and been shot down by the guard, or did someone try to escape that way? I look up at the wall. Shading your eyes and looking up at the wall, you see a single guardsman standing with his bow ready. He is aiming at something in the fields beyond the city. You remember the old soldier you met in the past? There really be goblins out there trying to get in? You keep going across the scrub. Alright, now we're at the edge of the buildings. You emerge from a small stand of trees to the back of a set of low buildings, from which you hear voices. An alley leads back into the main city. Clearly, we've been stopping at every other building we've been coming across, so why would this be an exception? I listen at the door. You pause outside the door to listen.
I'm telling you, I went down into the cellar and there was something there.
Did you kill it?
No, Father. I ran away.
I keep listening. This is unlikely to be important, but it is intriguing nonetheless.
And if I help people out, I might be able to get stuff. And I do like stuff.
I thought I taught you to kill thieves on sight, the older voice declares.
It wasn't a thief. It had teeth and a sword. And it was digging.
You lean closer, fascinated. What did it have? The father asks, perhaps demonstrating something you cannot see.
Yes, exactly.
The son replies, then stops. Wait, did you hear that? Oh, it came from outside. You hear footsteps approaching the doorway. I wait patiently, because I am not any spooky monster creature, but I do fight them. I wait patiently, so that I may run into them and perhaps talk. You wait, and the door is pulled back by a big man with a beard. He takes one look at you and shakes his head. We don't need to buy any potions. Good day. He slams the door shut, fully closed this time, and the voices fall quiet. Oh, he thought I was just a potion seller. You move away from the hut and make your way back onto the streets of Care. All right. I follow the alleyway. There I am, following the alley. After turning this way and that, you emerge into a small plaza, perhaps intended for visitors to the market building on your left to tie up their horses. But if any have, then it would have seemed their horses have been stolen. Imagine coming up here with your horse and tying it to a stake, expecting it not to be robbed. All around, the slum houses rise tall, squats piled on squats, emanating a thick and terrible smell. There are not many creatures about. The main road continues between the slums. Heading up a low rise and a side alley leads left. I look left. To the left, a narrow road leads deep into a slum district, but its lanes are slung with decoration and ragged bunting. I look to the right. Uh-oh, did I just fucking get robbed? I had 15 gold and now I have 10. Holy shit, we're gonna run after this fucker. The main road turns to the right here and continues up the rise towards a run of slightly grander buildings. Ivy and gripweed hang from the bent metal railings. The whole place seems empty, deserted, and dark. Suddenly, out of an almost invisible narrow alleyway, a figure no higher than your knee dashes out and collides with you, sending you sprawling. They cry out an apology as they hair their way down the street. I run after them. You charge off quickly down the road. You know a pickpocket when you feel one slip their hand into your purse, especially when I can see the amount of gold I have on screen up here. You catch sight of them just slipping into a narrow alley further up the road. It will take you off the main track into a maze-like back streets of Care if you follow. The slum districts of Lower Care are unlikely places to find nobles, but you might be able to learn their names or where they are hiding. We're following the thief, thank you. You race into a side alley after the figure, twisting and turning between tall buildings. The thief is a small child who freezes for a moment, then begins to run twice as fast, straight towards a high-boarded fence. The child looks spry and sprightly and terrified. You wouldn't put it past them to try and climb their way out. Alright, I could catch up, I could yell to them, or I could cast a spell. Alright, this is gonna kind of vary based upon what they're gonna give me. Because straight up, we're just gonna slow them down. I cast slow. You think you're gonna be able to run away? Look at that. Doze! Shing! I send light out towards them, and I cast the spell, and the child's movement slow to a crawl. One foot is placed on the fence, and they try to leap higher, but they misjudge and fall slowly to the floor. You grab the child by the scruff of the neck. It is a young girl. She squirms and wriggles clumsily if she tries to escape. Sand time. Could have done that too, I suppose, but that seems like a waste on a little thief child. Excuse me, small child. This is beyond just thinking you robbed me. You straight did rob me. I think you robbed me, you declare.
Me? No, I wouldn't. Oh, no, I never would. I'm being chased by the guard.
Are you a guard? I'm not sure if I'm saying yes to saying that if I'm a guard or not. I'm assuming I'm saying no, I'm not a guard. No, you smile. In fact, I'm escaping from the guard myself.
And why are you chasing me?
She demands, suddenly getting tough. I've got rights, you know. You stole from me, kid. Give it back.
You probably dropped your money when you're running after me,
she replies, then colors. Suddenly hear footsteps behind you, and before you can react, a figure has grabbed you by the scruff of your neck and hauled you backwards into a building. Scram! This new figure growls to the child, who needs no further warning, and is quickly out of sight. Well, now I'm in the building, grabbed by this person. So, excuse me, person, but now you're gonna have to pay me this missing gold, because I'm not losing out on 5 gold pieces. That was a third of my cash money. Just chuck the sand in the people's eyes? Truly. If only I had a duplication spell to make more sand and I could just start throwing it at fucking everybody I pass. I turn to see who this is. A dark-skinned man with a beard of short stubble. As you look at him, he releases you, holding up his hands to show he means you no harm. Apologies to give you a fright, he says. Thought you were attacking that child. Please, sit with me and talk for a while. What? That child stole from me. He nods. I'm sure she did. Till they eat around here. But you can take it, I'm sure. You don't need to take revenge on children, surely. I wasn't trying to take revenge. I was trying to get my money back. He grins. You look around the building and realize you are in his home. It is well furnished with rich woven tapestries on the walls. Excuse me, but if you're well off, I'll have you know that I do not have that much stuff, and I only had 15 gold pieces, so, you're gonna have to pay me it now. I look him over. He is a noble-looking sort, and wears fine furs and a cloak. He seems friendly enough. Let's ask him about care. Yeah, it's entirely possible that this person is a noble. Kinda looking that way. You take a seat. Tell me about care, you begin. I'm new here. Oh, he sighs. Ugh. This is a treacherous place. You can't trust anyone or anything in this town. He winks at you. But before I go into all that, would you like some ale? I'm suspicious of this ale now, but fine. I'll drink with you. Fuck it. The man returns with 2 mugs of ale, and he places one deliberately in front of you. So let me tell you about my city, he begins, conversationally. The center of care is built around the port. It can be a dangerous place at night. I think back to that witch lady who intentionally placed the poisoned mug in front of me. In front of herself, expecting me to swap the mugs around. Don't trust anyone here. By the way, have a beverage that could be poisoned. I look to the camera, and I thumb my hand towards him. Hell, I say. By the way, hello there, S'more Eater, and welcome to the stream. Would you like some poisoned ale? That's essentially the vibe that this gives off, yeah. So, it can be a dangerous place at night. I don't waste any time. I'm just like, do you know the spell lines? You look like a noble. Tell me the spell lines. I need to know those spell lines, dude. So, why is that? Well, they say that those wandering the streets get waylaid and captured onto slaving ships. So be sure to be settled down in an inn before sundown. He lifts his mug. Your health? He might even be trying to straight lower my guard in this manner. I don't know. This is kind of suspicious. Is he telling me this information so that I lower my guard, and then this is just literally what he's doing? He's like, guess what? I'm one of those slavers. And then he just grabs me and runs off. Or is he actually legitimately something like a noble and is actually trying to help me out? I have no idea. Because honestly, I think most of the characters I've come across have been totally well-intentioned. Maybe? And hello there, Butterblade, and welcome to the stream. We'll start with asking him to tell me more. Sure, he takes a long sip from his mug. The other things to know about Care is that there are thieves and murderers everywhere. This place is like one big prison. You have to be careful everywhere you go. Say, aren't you thirsty? Yeah, this is I don't drink. You lie carefully. The answer seems to surprise him to the point of confusion. You don't drink? He replies, but if you don't drink, what do you do when you're thirsty? You don't want to know, I say, looking down, and then back up at him, and then to the side awkwardly. I mean, I don't drink beer. Oh, he exclaims. You mean you won't drink my beer? His expression turns to anger. Ungrateful traveler, you barge your way into my home, then refuse my hospitality. Join me in my ale, or I promise you, you will not leave my house. Oh. Sweat starts forming at my brow. I started getting nervous. I kind of wanted to get more information out of this man. Okay, I take the drink. I sip some. You knock back the drink and lick the froth from your lips. So, as I was saying, the man continues, another thing to watch out for is the portal traps on the far side of Jabaji. The nobles who live there protect themselves with them. If you fall into one, well, you have no idea where you'll end up. What does a trap look like exactly? You ask? Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. Seeing as how you'll never get to the north side, my friend. I look in the beer. Sure enough, it is a strange greenish color and has a smell of sickly acid. Yes, I see it on your face. Vangorn, the murderer, has claimed another victim! He laughs loudly. You feel a stabbing pain deep within your stomach. If you have been poisoned, you may be only moments away from death. I cast a spell. And then I cast Dock, which heals disease. You cast the spell on the potion and drink it quickly. Quickly begin to feel better. The man watches in growing rage and anger. Then, before you know what's happening, he's grabbed a longbow from the wall, notched an arrow, and is aiming straight at your heart. No one escapes from Vangorn, the murderer! He gloats, pulling back the string. I cast another spell. Now, I could cast, like, wall, and he would sling that arrow at me. However, I can also... Oh, what? I don't want to cast fucking Dop. Dop is for Lux. I wanted to cast those so I could slow him down. Apparently not. Can I cast Dumb and make him clumsy instead? That's gonna cost me 3 stamina though. I could try opting for Fog, but I don't think that's an option either. I could also do something like electrocute him. Man, imagine if you didn't have magic. Or alternatively, if Jan was still hanging around. Cause I wouldn't have been able to save myself using that dock spell. Or even if I didn't take any of those potions from that crate, I would also be dead now. Cause I would not have had those potions to cast Dock on. Thanks, Magic. Your pal. Heck, Jan, I know. I wish I could cast Fog so I could blind him, but not an option. I could cast Mud. Is the M an option? Make him just fall down into a pit of quicksand? Doesn't look like that's an option. We can do Zap for lightning, I assume. Law would control the will of the stupid, and I don't think that's what I'm caring to do here. Wall would be a barrier. I could also cast Walk and get a shield. So what would be better? If I made myself a shield, which I could have and use to block his arrow. It would also cost me less stamina points. There's so many options. Oh, it's only gonna let me cast Wall? Wonder how much that casts. 3 stamina, huh? Why not? We cast an invisible wall. You cast the spell, raising an invisible barrier between the two of you just as the arrow is released. It flies towards you, its aim quite true, then strikes your wall and clatters to the floor. Then Gorn's face falls. A sorcerer? He exclaims. I have no quarrel with sorcerers. And with that, he rushes away into the street. And with Vaingorn gone, you are free to search his small house. Hey, look at that. How convenient. I look in the cupboards. You open the... Because I'm sure if I did something like clumsiness and he just missed shooting me, he would be like, oh, well, fuck. I had some bad aim. Time to just normally fight. And then he could have grabbed a sword and then slashed at me. So the wall spell spooked him, but not the spell to cure the poison. See, I cast the spell on a potion, which I then drank the potion. So he might have just made the assumption that I had some kind of healing potion, and that kept me from being poisoned and dying. You don't have to be a sorcerer for that. You can just go buy a potion that would cure poisoning, so I can understand that. It's also possible I could have zapped him and not got shot that way, and he might have gotten electrocuted and been like, oh, I have no quarrel with sorcerers, and then left. There's probably a couple different options and outcomes there. Alright. So I open the cupboards, and in one you find a jar marked poison, and in another jar, a jar labeled essence of bark? Hello. Why would I take only one when I can take both of them? I clear out the cupboards and take all of them. Why would I taste the bark essence? I don't know if I want to do that. However, now that I've got a poison bottle, I wonder if I could use some spell with that. Because it's not looking like it. No. Taste the poison. Didn't you cast the spell on the beer, though? No, I cast it on one of the potions that I have. Which I don't think I can pull up and look at quite at this moment. Dog essence or tree essence? That's the real question. I don't know if this is going to make me bark like a dog, or if it's bark like a tree. Let's examine the hangings. The hangings look like rich treasures from a much grander household. Made of thick cloth, they are exquisitely decorated with images of orcs and trolls being hacked to pieces by a hero with 2 blades and a silver crown. One of the hangings has a suspiciously large bulge beneath it, and as you watch, the bulge moves. Uh-oh. Is the kid gonna be hiding behind it? Oh, holy shit, it's a gigantic spider! What? The arachnid jumps out at you, baring its fangs and landing on your chest. Oh, fuck. I don't know if this is a jumping spider that's jumping at me, and if I freeze, if maybe it will, like, do nothing. If I try to knock it away, my hand's gonna brush up against it, and it's gonna bite my hand. Or if I freeze, it's just gonna land on me and be like, and then crawl away peacefully. Casting a spell would probably be the safest, as always. Did he just keep that in his closet? No. The spider was hiding behind one of the tapestries, see? Now let's see, I could do maybe something like Muddle Mind? Is that an option? It's always like I look over my list of spells that I have in total. Imagine casting Fireball just straight at my chest. Spider jumping at me. I react with horror and fear. I use hot. And then my spider lights ablaze and I'm like, haha! And then I realize that it's also caught my hair on fire. It's spread to my clothing. I am now all ablaze and the spider falls down to the floor dead. And then I fall down to the floor dead also. And thus ended my journey. What options do we have here? We've got G. Gob. Gob summons Goblin. That's not gonna help me. Foff would be, or Fog or Foff. Foff is a force field. And Fog would be darkness. I don't think either is going to be very effective against this spider. Yap would let me talk to animals if I had a green wig, and I do not. And the only other... Yap, this one, Yob, is summoning a giant, which also would not be very useful. And I don't have the item for it either. Is there NUK for nuke? If only. Guy probably had a spider as a pet. I mean, that's true. This could be a pet spider right here. I have no idea. Let's freeze. You stop. Stock still. The spider crawls up your chest, heading for your throat. I continue to stay still. Controlling yourself with careful discipline, you steady your hammering heart. The spider crawls up over your face, one of its legs sliding between your lips. I kiss the spider's foot. Oh, my beloved spider friend. I stay still. As the creature climbs up your face and onto the top of your head, where it settles like some kind of absurd hat. Then it jumps across the room and scuttles away to hide behind another hanging. Oh, you let out an enormous sigh of relief. Here I was inches away from the possibility of having a spider hat. Man, imagine if the spider was like, hey, you're pretty cool for not getting afraid. You know what? I'm gonna hang out right here with you. And then I would gain a little spider hat friend. Oh, unfortunately, it did hop away. That was a very chill spider, though, indeed. You have found all you will find here. Time to be moving on. Now, time to look at my items. Yep, there's the essence of bark. What that does exactly... Oh. We've got portal trap clue. Care is protected by a series of portal traps. Gotta be careful of those. See, now I've only got 3 doses of the blimberry juice. Okay, let's continue and follow along the road. Is it essence of bark from a tree, or is it a dog bark? That's what we were deliberating earlier when we grabbed that potion out. And we're like, essence of bark? What kind of bark does it mean? Maybe if you could have talked to it, you could have befriended it? Oh, that's true also. If only I had that green-haired wig, I could have slapped that on and been like, hey, spider, you need a friend? A wink? And the spider would have winked back and said, hell yeah. And hello there, Skull, and welcome to the stream. You continue along the street, which grows narrower and more winding. On either side, slum dwellings rise high. Faces appear and disappear behind drapes. Someone throws out a bucket of slop, narrowly missing you. Furry, chained-up animals screech from balconies. The sun disappears from view. Uh-oh. We need to find an inn now. I guess we'll stop and ask for directions. Seeing as that's what we've been doing, we just keep asking and nobody has really turned on us too harshly before. Imagine not having naturally green hair. You know, that's a good point. I need a green-haired wig in order to cast those spells. Would just having green hair work as a sufficient substitute? So you wouldn't even need a wig? You just have your... Oh, hang on. If that were true, would other sorcerers seeing my green hair say, hey, I need that. That way I can cast those animal speech spells. And then they run over to me and just lop my head off to steal all of my hair. You stop at a doorway and knock. After a few minutes, an eye appears at a crack in the wood. What do you want? This is a voice. I warn you, I've got a dragon in here, so don't try anything. We'll just be polite here. I need help. If that's the case, maybe the artists have some green dye. Oh, holy hell. Who would even need green dye? Just use some fucking paint. Just dip my entire head in some green paint. Boom, green hair. I need help, you declare. What sort of help? Demands the voice. I need to find somewhere to stay. That's a little bit more pressing right now, seeing as the sun's setting. You can't stay here, voice calls back in clear terror. Then it calms down a note. But try the Wayfarer's Rest by the harbor. You'll get there if you just keep going. It's right in the center. Okay, next then, I need to find the Nobles of Care also. Nobles? Squeals the voice. What would I know about nobles? Do you think any nobles live around here? They used to come by this way to collect taxes, oh sure. We see Theta around here on his horse. But now he's blind, isn't he? Fell out of favor and they taxed him for his eyes. What? Where is he now? I don't know. I don't care. The voice breaks out into wheezing laughter. Though they say he's a beggar now. Well, if he comes begging around here, I'll set my dragon on him. Here's a moment's pause. You're not him, are you? No, I'm not. Don't worry. Pity. The voice muses. Yeah. Imagine if I said yes and he did have a dragon in there and it just comes barreling out at my face, setting it ablaze again. Well, thank you. I guess I'll continue on. Yes, for sure. For not setting my anteater on, I mean my dragon on you. You're a terrible liar. All right, it agrees. Not a dragon then, but a wolfhound. Yep, whatever. Thank you for your time, you tell him. Go stuff yourself, it replies. You walk away from the door. Look, they might have been incredibly rude, but ultimately I did get some information from him, so hey. Break down the door, why is that an option? Clearly, so I break down the door and I just force myself to stay in his house. So I go further on. The lane gets narrower. Muck and foul runs downhill, forming a sheen over the flagstones. The walls on either side are now so close together that someone on the top floor has laid planks across the alley to steal a house opposite, or perhaps steal their own things back. It's hard to be sure. Imagine the person, like both of the house owners, going between them, stealing from each other constantly. I could cast a spell here. What are you thinking, game? What is B? Oh, what? Why can I cast big here? That makes me kind of want to, so I see what happens. No G spells. S for sus, sure. H, set everything on fire. Why not? If I have the option to become big, you better believe that I'm gonna try to make myself get big. You cast the spell, quickly inflating to 3 times your normal size. You hear shutters and doorways slam closed on all sides. I remove the plank, or I could just continue walking. Planks could be a trap. It's true. I remove the plank. You pluck the plank from its place and shake free the robber who is clinging onto the middle of it. He cries out as he lands. You toss the plank aside at him and you move away. The road narrows further until you can barely squeeze your giant form between the door frames on either side. Then, quite suddenly, you reach a small plaza. "You're just like me," says the biggest con. 'Cause he too, being the biggest, is also a giant. Now we're over here by the well. This is a small open square with a dried up well at its center. This is a crossroads. The side road leads off to the left and right. Okay, I look at the alleys. You pause to look around the edge of the square. There is nothing to distinguish one alleyway from the other, although you do see a line of what look like blood drops heading right. The giant spell fades and you slowly shrink back to your normal size. I look at the well. The one thing the alleys have in common is that they converge here. Once, presumably, this well served all the people in the district. But perhaps there were too many people because now the well seems dusty and dry. I could toss a coin down there. I can also look down. Let's peek into the well. Leaning over the edge, you peer down into the depths of the well. Strange, this well seems to have handholds cut into the stone. They appear good enough to climb down. I could go onto a path, or I could go and see what's down in the well. That could mean more treasure. I've got so much stuff here. I've still got several pebbles. I have 3 fucking health potions. I have the sand I could toss with quicksand. Hello. I'm not gonna toss a coin down because I've already have gotten robbed and I'm down 5. So we're gonna go down into the well and maybe we could find some coins that other people have tossed down here. Eh? While you aren't likely to find city nobles down there, it's certainly a curiosity worth exploring. You swing yourself over the edge of the well, teetering for an unnerving moment above the long, long drop. Then you find the first of the holds with your feet and begin to make your way down into the dark. And down into the well we go. Oh my goodness, I love this little map it has. The climb is slow and cautious. You cannot see the holds below you, so you have to feel your way down. After about 10 minutes, your arms are tiring. Suddenly, you realize the position you are in. If your strength gives out, you will fall, but you may not have the energy to climb back up either. If it let me cast a spell here, I've got a feather fall spell. So we're going to keep climbing down. Stealing your courage, you continue to climb down. A ledge. After a minute more, your foot finds a ledge. Below that is nothing but space. You have reached a roof of whatever chamber is below. A metal bar sticks out from the wall here, presumably used to tie a rope to continue the rest of the way down. I cast a spell. F-A-L. Float in the air. You cast a spell and feel yourself become as light as a feather. Then you release hold of the wall and float gently down. You are floating an inch or so above thick water in one of the city's sewers. The smell is indescribable. Ugh. You're at a dead end of sorts. The water disappears into a grating in one direction, while the tunnel disappears in darkness in the other. I just use a spell to get down here. I'm gonna keep on exploring. We continue walking. You step out from the dim light of the wall shaft and into the black tunnel beyond. I continue my journey.
Making sure I don't walk in the water, ewy.
See, carefully walking along the edge. Continue along in the sewer. The tunnel is filled with the worst stench you can imagine. Things splash and scurry through the darkness. You pass a heap of black cloth. A huddled creature? Hell no, I'm not ignoring it. If I spent the time to come down here in the first place, we're gonna check out everything we possibly can. I investigate this black cloth. You creep over to the huddled rags, the shape of a man linked over, clutching his knees, but it does not seem to be moving. I stab it. Clearly, the smart option. Or, like Mythic Dragon holding torch in hands, I set it on fire. It collapses at the slightest touch, and you breathe a sigh of relief. Just a piled up cloak, discarded by some previous unfortunate who traveled this way. I'm gonna check out this cloak. Imagine, if I had stabbed it, it would have ruined this cloak. You sift through the heavy cloth. This was a fine cloak once, before it was left to rot down here. Stitched on the back is a number 1 in a circle. Waterlogged, the cloak is too heavy to carry away. But it proves that others have come this way before. Oh, what? I can't bring the cloth with me, god dang it. I could have wrapped it around my shoulders or something and worn it, though. Whoever that cloak belonged to, it's true. They were number 1. I could have been number 1. I can't get the stinky number 1 cloak. I continue sadly along the path. The sewer turns a corner here, with other tunnels blocked by filth-strewn wreckage.
Before I continue, I search the wreckage.
Anything good? Anything good? Ooh, I steal yourself and dig through a foul filth in the wreckage.
Try not to vomit, but I do come across a small glass bottle. I grab the bottle and uncork it.
You uncork and take a sniff.
Ooh, blimberry.
I stash it into my pack. That means I have 4 blimberry potions again. That's pretty good. I walk on. You walk onwards through the dark sewer, when suddenly the tunnel opens into a low chamber. Ooh, I wonder what's out here. Oh, we've got a couple of spots. You stand ankle deep in filth in a square chamber. Icy droplets fall from the ceiling. The smell is terrible. But this is not just any sewer. In the corner of the room is a pile of rags. Someone, or something, lives down here. Let's start by just looking around in the room. You look around the walls of the chamber. Aside from the pile of rags, there is nothing else here. No stash of food or weapons, and no sign of the inhabitant. Then you notice on the far wall some scratches in the stone. Mark of time, perhaps? A sudden rush of water floods the chamber, soaking you up to the waist. A moment later is washed away once more. There might be more coming. Uh-oh. That means I might have a limited amount of time in here. I'm gonna go ahead and search the rags. And not finding anything currently. They've probably been scavenged from what people threw down the drain into the sewers. But we're gonna look through more carefully. And guess what? We find 3 gold pieces. Suddenly you find yourself itching and scratching. The rags are covered in fleas, and now they are biting you as well. Suddenly, something growls in the darkness of the tunnel behind you. You look up to see a dark, stooped shape approaching fast. Oh shit, it's a rat bear.
And so, how do we always open up these battles now? With the spell, what can I cast?
That's with a K. K-I-D is kid. I can't do anything with that because that is an illusion and I need an item for that. L-A law. Control the will of the stupid. Do you think a rat bear is dumb? I wonder what would happen if I cast that on the bear. Otherwise, we've got Yak. I don't think that's a spell. Causes fear. I don't have a black face mask, so that's not an option. The other one is God, illusion of worship. I can't do that either. So what are we gonna try and opt for? The only spell I'm able to cast. Law. You cast the spell and take command of the rat bear's will. I could send it away, or I could kill it. But I feel bad for the rat bear. Does the rat bear even cause any problems? Oh, poor rat bear. Just go away. Cause problems somewhere else, rat bear. Alright? You order the creature to retreat, and it slowly slinks away down the tunnel, roaring in anger but powerless to resist your command. Still, the spell will wear off eventually. You had better leave this place before it returns. Well, first I'm gonna check out this little scratch spot here. Murder? No murder happened here. I did not kill that rat bear. I just sent it away, so no problems. You make your way carefully around the cesspool in the middle of the room, to the far side where the marks are faintly visible in the gloom. They are not just notches, but letters, and perhaps once they were full words, but have been worn away by the flowing water, or else filled in with slime and dirt. It looks as though it might have once been a poem. I read a rat poem. The rat bear comes here to scratch scrawlings on the wall of poetry. Still shaking from your encounter with the rat bear, you steady your heartbeat and peer at the markings on the wall. You can make out the following through the muck. Urga's Grace, one lock, deep inside I bid you. There is nothing more to be done here. If you ever wish to see daylight again, you must move on. Okay, I'm assuming that this clue is going to mark down now as that poem. Oh look, Lord Theta the beggar. Now a blind beggar. That's it. Scratched poem, yes. Kurga's Grace, one lock, deep inside, I bid you. Alright, we walk on. You walk onwards through the sewer. Shadowy shapes loom out of the darkness, then disappear as you move close. You walk for what seems like an hour, maybe more. The tunnel tilts lower and lower. Perhaps you are going underneath the river. The sound of fast rushing water fills the tunnels. What kind of spell would I want to cast here? I can do zap, I guess. Or zip. That makes me faster. And I need an item for that, which I don't have. Hot or how tells me what path. That wouldn't be too bad. Huff. That makes it darker. I don't know about making it darker. Let's go ahead and do how. And maybe that will give me a nice pathway out of here. You cast the spell and a calm voice enters your mind, telling you there is only one exit to the sewer, and that it is a long way onwards. The voice tells you that there will be straight. The voice tells you that the way will be straight and safe, and with that, it recedes. You keep walking. The sound of rushing water is growing louder. Okay, we continue. you realize that the sound is not coming from close by the tunnel or through the walls. The sound is coming towards you. Somewhere, a wall of water is approaching. An old dam must have given way, and river water is now flooding the tunnel. Uh-oh. I wonder if I could have casted wall. The music in this game is really nice. It is, though it only really plays when you're in the menu there. I could pray for aid, shelter in an alcove, run for it, or take a deep breath. I pray for aid from the ape. A strong beast, intelligent and prudent, who takes great pride in acting faithfully, to be depended upon. You stop still and try to clear your mind, to raise a prayer to the ape. You feel a great calm wash over you. Then, a moment later, it is the wave that is breaking across your body, knocking you flying like a ragdoll. The water wrenches you from the floor and throws you into a swirling spiral. You can see nothing but the murk and the filth. At least, you think wryly, you're getting a wash. I swim for it. You feel the calm of the ape in your mind. Whether you will be protected or not, you cannot tell, but at least you feel in control. I'm calm. What if I swim with the current? If I swim up, will I swim against the water? Let's swim up. You swim up towards the roof of the sewer, hoping to find an air pocket to refresh your breath, but you are out of luck. Your head hits the archstone ceiling, which is fully submerged. Even the ducts are filled up with water. There is no air to be had down here. I feel like if I attempt to swim against the water at all, I'm not going to be powerful enough to get through it. I might just have to roll with the water until it passes. The house spell said this was safe. No. The house spell told me the path was safe, see. All it said was about the path, not that there was going to be anything coming at all. And didn't know that. I would probably have to cast something like sus, to check for danger. I'm just mainly unsure if I should be swimming with the current or against the current. You know what? Let's go with the flow. I swim with the current. And I continue just going with the current. And then the air in my lungs give out. And it floods my lungs, and I have drowned. Rest in peace. Is this the point I want to rewind to? Okay, here we go. So, what if instead of praying for aid, we find shelter in an alcove? Nope. No help. On the other hand, now it's not going to give me any calm feeling from praying for aid. This time, what happens if I just swim against the current the entire time? Nope, I die. Drowning in poop water. And that's what's happening. Alright. Let's run for it. Nope, not much. If I swim down to escape the flow, the current is whipping you this way and that, like a fetal bug in a thunderstorm. It is all you can do to work out which way is up and which way is down. You turn and fend down towards the bottom of the sewer, hoping to escape the worst of the current. Near the ground, the water is slower and you are thrown less violently, but you are still running out of air. So if I swim up at this point, and we swim up a duct, lungs still bursting, you reach a duct in the ceiling. Once inside, it wrenches you upwards with a powerful force. The stonework on either side is a blur and you crash, scrape, and bang into the sides painfully. Then suddenly, your spout up into a wider, colder water, lit from above by silvery light. You are outside. Whoa, here I am up at the docks. You come up gasping for air, about a quarter of the way across the river that flows through the middle of Care. Night has fallen while you are underground, and all around you is pitch darkness. You struggle and flail for a moment to get your head above water, and then turn about to swim for the far bank. Of course, all your water damageable possessions have been ruined! Thankfully, however, the pages of your spellbook are protected, and your fleas are washed away. Yep, there go my rations. Free at what cost? Stinky. Ugh. Now I'm gonna have to check my possessions too to see what has lasted. I hope I didn't lose my vial of dust or my gauntlets because, that cost me a bit of money. You swim along the surface of the river, keeping your mouth clear on the filth as best you can and aiming for distant lights of the far bank. There's a figure moving there. A night watchman of some kind? I keep swimming. You keep on swimming, carving your way across, keen to be out of the Jabaji as soon as possible. Suddenly, a voice rings out across the river. There's someone in the water. One of the slaves is escaping. Uh-oh. I don't know if I keep swimming and I get out of the water, they're gonna grab me and be like, oh, yep, sorry, you're a slave now, regardless. Or if I turn back, if they'll be like, oh, see, they're escaping away from here. I dive under the water. Now they're firing at me. I'm gonna keep swimming towards them. You keep swimming forwards, but no more arrows strike. Perhaps they lost track of you in the water, since you are not swimming back as they might have expected, but forwards. You're moving slowly and silently, coming up for air when you need to, but breathing only softly and gently. After several minutes of this, you arrive at the far bank. Check if it's safe first. You wait, shivering in the freezing cold water of the river, but the men and their lanterns are a little further up along the bank. You should be safe to climb out here, so I haul myself out. I'm hoping the only thing ruined is the ration also, because I really don't want to lose any of the items that I spent money on. And it would be really nice to not lose any of my potions, so I'm still able to use those to heal. You look around in the darkness. The far bank is less populated than the near bank. There are no inns, no market stalls, just a single path disappearing off into the darkness between large stone buildings. You're too tired from your swimming to walk on, so you crawl under a bush and make camp. You are exhausted. You could do with something to eat, but there's nothing you can do, for all of your food has been ruined by the water. Time to get some sleep. You close your eyes and are quickly asleep. Your dreams are cluttered and crazy. You seem to be walking forward, traps springing at your feet. Face after face laughs at you as you ask about the spells. 4, says one. There are 11 spells. 13. 49! River water fills your mouth and makes you choke, for the water is thriving with fishes, each of which wants to tell you its life story. Vangorn strides over and shakes you by the hand. Thank you for helping me realize the error of my ways, he says. A moment later, he sticks a dagger into your lung. Finally, a black wellmouth approaches and swallows you whole. Okay, quick check of my items. Weapons, still have the leather gauntlet. Still have my blimberry juice, my pebbles, my sand, and my cloth skullcap. Lucky King, essence of bark poison. So all I've lost from that were my rations, so thank God. I did not lose much. What sweet dreams you have? I know! I only ever have good, positive, happy dreams. Dawn comes, and you are woken by the shimmering light across the surface of the Jabaji River. But the idyllic morning is quickly broken, and as the first of the boats begin to sail down the river, the sailors cursing and singing filthy songs that echo between the buildings on either side. You've almost become accustomed to the terrible smell here. And hello there, Splinter, and welcome to the stream. Did I watch the video that you sent? No, I forgot about it. I have a huge tendency to forget to watch videos that people send me, especially when they're on the longer side, honestly. Sorry. Okay. I start moving. You follow the road away from the river, towards a fork in the road. If there are any Norbles still in the city port, their houses are most likely to be on the side of the river. But which way? Let me zoom out here. I assume that I'm not going to be returning to the left side of the map again, and now I get to explore around on this right side and do stuff? Perhaps? But I'm going to assume I have a decent amount of the game left. Or who knows, I'm basically at the end. I have no idea. But
I think I'm going to wrap up for today.
and we will simply complete the remainder next week. And if I play the game for only, say half an hour next time, and I really am that close to the finish, we'll find out then, and I'll just pick up another short game to play afterwards. I'll just make sure I have that prepped and ready to go in case we are very close to the end. Because otherwise, I feel like this is a pretty good stopping point. We just went to sleep and awoke after getting caught in that river. So this feels like a nice spot to stop for tonight. So, firstly, a reminder that next Sunday is the Chat's Choice stream, and that's going to be Spiritfarer played with Petri. So I hope to see you over there next week. And next Saturday will be more Sorcery indeed. We'll go ahead and finish this off, and if it ends up running short, I'll swap to another game to play, depending on how much time is left in the stream length. If we finish at, say, 3 hours, probably we'll just end there and have a short stream. If I make it up to 4, then it would be normal length and we would have no problem. I'll just have a few games ready to switch to if we do finish. But for today, thank you for everybody who has come by to watch, and thank you for those who have followed and subscribed, resubscribed. It's very appreciated and very nice. So first, then, let me see who is currently streaming, and I do see, yes, Steven is playing some Among Us, so maybe go over there and check him out. Alright, so... Oh, I didn't even swap to my ending screen. There we go. So, thank you, everybody, and I hope to see you next time.